live at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Today, the second matchup in the NFC West between the Atlanta Falcons and the visiting Los Angeles Rams. And hi, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler along with Dan Jiggetts. Happy holidays from Atlanta. Doesn't feel like Christmas here, partner. It's about 72 degrees and a dark cloud over the stadium. It's been kind of a dark cloud over this team this year, the Los Angeles Rams. We thought maybe they were the second best team in football. It hasn't gone well for them.
It certainly hasn't. We asked Coach John Robinson the other day, what do you have to do for the end of the season? He said, hey, look, we just need to win 2 games. He said, first of all, we got to play and play to win. That's more fun. Don't forget, forget about all the trends and all the rest of that stuff. Just go out there and use your ability. And if you don't use that ability, you should be ashamed of yourself.
And for Jerry Glanville, his Falcons had 3 wins by midseason. Now they're 3-11. How about for them?
Well, this situation here in Atlanta is much like it was with Jerry Glanville in his first full season as head coach of the Houston Oilers. That year they were 5-11. And this year he said the trends are following along. The trends are improving in all categories. So he feels very comfortable where they are in that sense. They'd like to put a couple more wins on the board, though, of course.
So the Rams have won the toss, selected to receive, and you see Greg Davis about ready to get us underway. The Rams 5-9 on the year, coming off a loss on Monday night to the world champion 49ers. The Falcons, meanwhile, at 3-11, and they're in the midst of a 7-game losing skid. The fans here at home have been very kind to the Falcons this year, and this is obviously not a sellout at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium today, but the fans that have showed up have been very vocal so far. Davis has it teed. Gaston Green and Robert Del Pino are the deep duo for the Rams. We're just about set to get underway. Earlier this year, it was the Rams over Atlanta in Anaheim, 44-24. The last time the Falcons have beaten the Rams in Atlanta, non-strike year, was way back in 1986. So it's been a long dry spell for the Falcons with their counterparts from the NFC West.
I think Davis is waiting for the rain before he kicks off.
So Greg's waiting on the sprinkles, and we're waiting on Greg. And we're underway. Del Pino lets it bounce, and it just made the corner in front of the pylon. It'll be a touchback, and the Rams will work from their own 20-yard line and enter number 11. And despite the fact the Rams are 5-9, he has had another tremendous season. We're talking about Jim Everett at quarterback in his 5th year out of Purdue. Behind a veteran front wall.
Yeah, you look at that offensive line. Herb Pankey, Tom Newberry, who is out today and will be replaced by Vern Brostick, Doug Smith at center, Duval Love at right guard, and Jackie Slater at right tackle, playing in his 208th game.
You saw as they went to the split backfield, Gaston Green and Buford McGee, the dual setbacks. And it's Gaston Green on the first carry of the day. Picked up maybe 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Jesse Tuggle and John Rady combine on the stop. 2nd down and 8 coming up. Ricky Bryan checks in immediately as Mike Gann, who's had some foot problems, will be in and out of the lineup today. In fact, has a broken bone on his foot. He is starting on the defensive front for Atlanta. And it's 2nd down and a long 7 coming up for the Rams. Green and McGee, Ellard and Anderson, the wideouts. Gaston Green swarmed under at the line of scrimmage. Tim Green and John Rady got over there to make the hit. Tim Green having a fine season, an undersized defensive lineman, Dan.
Yeah, he's really moving well upfield, and I think that's the thing that's making it difficult for people to block him, is his ability to move around on the field. I made a mistake earlier. I thought Tom Newberry wasn't going to start at left guard for the Rams. He is out there. Number 66, you'll recall, he went down in the Monday night game. Looked like a knee injury, but you know those offensive guards, you can't keep them out of the mix for long.
3rd down. And a long 7 for the Rams as we expect to see Everett go to the air for the first time. Deep drop blitz coming. It is intercepted by Scott Pace. Pace with blockers in front. He's got an alley. Scott Pace, touchdown. Pace with his 3rd interception of the season, and he takes it in for Atlanta. 35-yard touchdown.
And this play will be reviewed, no doubt, to make sure that Scott Case did, in fact, make the interception. He was down low on the ground, so you know they're going to take a look at that. But what happened was Henrietta was coming across, going on an out pattern, and it looked like he either stopped or didn't speed up enough to get to the intersection of the ball and Scott Case, and as a result, Case picked it off.
Jim Everett has feasted off the Atlanta Falcons during his career, and that one was a stray pass without a doubt. And now, again, the officials will talk this one over as we await the word from upstairs. What a break this would be for the Falcons if they can get off on the right foot.
Yeah. Speaking of feet, I bet you right now Jerry Glanville feels like he found a rabbit's foot. Get a quick break like that early in the ball game against a team that they have, as you said, Brad, always had trouble with. The Los Angeles Rams early in this season, certainly they were done in by the Rams out in California.
After further review, play stands as called on the field. Ball was intercepted.
Now, Tim Green was the guy that caused the pressure on Jim Everett. He unloads. Now, watch Henry Ellett. It looks like he's just about a step behind. Scott Case goes down. That's a clean pickoff right there. Here's another look at it. You can see Case getting down underneath of the ball, make sure his elbows on the ground, scoops that ball up, and then takes off. And unfortunately for the Rams, they weren't alert enough on offense to come in and make the stop.
And Scott Case knew what to do with it. 35 yards and a touchdown. As the play we already heard will stand as called on the field. And now Howard Rowe, our referee,
After further review, touchdown.
tells us again, touchdown Atlanta. So Greg Davis in for the point after.
You think about the Rams last year, Brad, these are the kinds of things that were happening in favor of the Rams, and this year are going against them.
Kevin Green was talking about that very fact with us yesterday. He said the bounce of the ball is so strange, and none of them have bounced in the Rams' favor this year, as Davis tacks on point number 7. As Scott Case has the big play here in the first quarter, and the Falcons buy a touchdown. Well, the Falcons in front, as you see, by a touchdown early. 7-0, thanks to Scott Case. His first NFL touchdown. 35-yard interception return off a bad throw by Jim Everett. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Well, Davis will kick off again. Gaston Green, 2 yards deep, has trouble with it, and now we'll down it there. Let's take another look at Scott Case's interception, Dan.
Well, Brad, the first question was whether or not he caught the ball or did he just trap it on the ground. I think you can see from this shot here that clearly he cradles the ball in. You see his elbows go down to the ground to protect the ball from hitting the ground right there. And the other question was whether or not he got into the end zone after he approached it. Now watch here. Now the thing is, he stepped on his own man right there and goes into the end zone. Now the question was if he had hit an opponent, whether or not he would have gotten the score, but he hit his own man.
He used Jesse Tuggle as a springboard for the score. And the Rams on first down. Everett right back to the passing game, ball loose, incomplete. We're having trouble with our graphics here today. We apologize. So if you've noticed, we don't have a scoreboard, and in some cases the lineups, the starting lineups, will rectify the problem as soon as possible. We will tell you Atlanta in front just a minute and 45 seconds into the game. 7-0 as Jim Everett, who's had another fine season, threw his 16th interception of the year, and Scott Case took it in for the score. 2nd down and 10 for the Rams. Cleveland Gary and Robert Del Pino now in the Rams backfield. Everett, Flipper Anderson, first down for Los Angeles, out near the 32-yard line.
Those kind of passes hurt Flipper Anderson's average of 21.1 yards per catch.
That's right.
He's working against Deion Sanders over here on the offensive left side.
Falcons defensively with Torrey Epps at the nose tackle spot, Mike Gann and Tim Green the defensive ends. The linebackers, John Rady and Jesse Tuggle inside, Robert Lyles and Darian Connor outside. We mentioned Deion Sanders. He and Bobby Butler the corners, Scott Case and Brian Jordan the safeties. Cleveland Gary got popped at about the 34-yard line. Picked up maybe 3. Mike Gann and Darian Conner in on the hit.
And the key thing for Cleveland Gary on that play is he's holding onto the football in some heavy traffic. That's like being out in the middle of the freeway in California at about rush hour.
He's had such a fine season statistically, if you can throw away the fumble problems that he's had that have prevented him from starting the last couple weeks. And John Robinson says we just want to make him go back to square one and hold on to the football. There's the hit.
There's some sticking going on down there.
2nd and long for Everett with a blitz coming. Deep ball. Incomplete. Henry Ellard out there. Bobby Butler actually closer to the football.
Think of it. That's what Jerry Glanville likes to call his brand of football, sticky ball.
That's right. He says on the left coast they play that frisbee ball, which means the ball's in the air a lot. He likes sticky ball, which means take your helmet off if you can get a chance. Jim Everett started rough here, Dan. 1 for 4, 11 yards and an interception.
They seem to be out of sync, and I think that's something that's been a problem for them at times all season long. Every game they go into, they have that little troubling period.
Here's 6 defensive backs now as the Rams face 3rd down and 8. Everett got hit as he threw, and Bobby Butler had a hand on this one but couldn't hold on. Again, Butler had inside coverage on Flipper Anderson and almost had another interception.
And that time it looked like the Falcons had 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and they just blitzed Jim Everett. Now the pressure comes from number 93, Andre Bruce is one of the guys getting in there putting pressure on. Also, you see the safety blitz with Elbert Shelley, 37. Everett reads the blitz pretty good, tries to loft it up downfield, but there's good coverage over there by Bobby Butler. Bobby makes this thing, and he almost has the interception. Had it not been for the ground, he'd have had that one. Bobby's been around 10 years. You know, he won one more pick.
He's had a lot of them in an Atlanta uniform, 27 career interceptions, in fact.
And this play is being reviewed as well to see if it was an incomplete pass or an interception by Bobby Butler. The rule is that the ground cannot cause a fumble. Now, if he had contact with the ball and maintained possession of it all the way down to the ground, and then it popped out because of the impact on the ground, that's a different story.
I know what Bobby would tell you here.
Yeah. Here he goes down there now. He's reaching out, grabs the football right there, and you see Anderson trying to strip it out, and the ball comes out after he is rolled over on the ground. So this is a legitimate review in this situation.
After further review, play stands as ruled on the field, incomplete, brings up 4th down.
We did not have the definitive angle on it. I'm sure the official on that side of the field can see it a lot better because we could not see whether or not the ball was coming out even as he hit the ground.
Keith English hasn't had a punt blocked all year, but the Falcons are going to bring some heat on him. Deion Sanders back deep for Atlanta. Line drive spiral. Sanders at the 26. Up to about the 40-yard line. Deion Sanders a better return man at home than he is on the road. Atlanta on offense when we come back. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons lead 7-0 on Scott Case's 35-yard interception return off a stray pass from Jim Everett. And now the Falcon offense for the first time gets a chance under Hugh Millen, making just his 2nd start for the Falcons. He's a former Ram draft choice. Millen behind Jamie Dukes at center. Bill Fralick and Houston Hoover are the guards. Mike Ken and Chris Hinton are the tackles. Gary Wilkins starts at tight end. Tracy Johnson and Mike Rozier dual backfield. And Floyd Dixon there in motion. Millen play action and going deep. George Thomas has it. "53 yards, Millen to Thomas on the first offensive snap for Atlanta."
And it really looked like Darrell Henley, number 20, the right cornerback, was expecting deep help from the free and strong safeties, Michael Stewart and Vince Newsom. He just doesn't get it here because you see he's beat already. The coverage and the help comes late after Thomas makes the reception at about the 7-yard line. Hugh Millen strikes goal right away.
Hey, that's a good first pass, he says. 1st and goal, Atlanta. Mike Rozier back to the line of scrimmage, maybe eked out a half-yard. Doug Reed and Michael Stewart made the stop. The Rams defensively, Alvin Wright, the nose tackle. Doug Reed and Mike Peel are the defensive ends. Mike Wilcher and Kevin Green, the outside linebackers. Bruce Klosterman and Larry Kelm inside. Darrell Henley and Jerry Gray, the safeties. Corners, I should say. Michael Stewart and Vince Newsom are the safeties. And again, we apologize. We are having a problem with our graphics. So we're just going to give you the lineups and everything you need to know with an audio cue here. We'll get that fixed as soon as possible. 2nd and goal, Atlanta, just outside the Rams 7. Andre Rison in there and in motion. Straight ahead, Tracy Johnson inside the 5, where it'll bring up 3rd down and goal.
Falcons deciding to try to go behind that big power mush offensive line, as Jerry Glanville refers to it. Going over on the left side behind Bill Fralick, number 79. Fralick's been to Hawaii a few times, a couple of Pro Bowls. Mike Kent over there as well. Houston Hoover.
Chris Hinton right there in front of you. Number 71 is a Pro Bowl alternate. Falcons work from their red gun on 3rd and goal at the 4. Dillon in trouble. Buys some time. Man open, touchdown. Flag down. Sean Collins made the catch. Let's see what the marker's about. May have interference one way or the other.
The official had a tough time down there. First he lost his hat, and then he lost his flag because he threw it.
85, offense was out of bounds. Came back in, was first to touch the pass. Incomplete. 4th down.
He went to the back of the end zone. I think he went out the back of the end zone, Brad. Let's take a look at it at the top of the screen. Watch right there. That's Sean Collins, number 85. Now, I think he goes out the back. He pushes out of the back. Right there, he slips out. Now he tries to come back in, but you can't come back inbounds and make a play.
Sean Collins did not even know, I don't think, that took place. Jerry Gray forced him to the back. Comes in, made the catch there, but out of bounds first.
Well, it feels so muddy back there, you can't stop on a dime anyway.
So Greg Davis in to attempt a 21-yard field goal. And the Falcons in front 10-0 on the Rams. 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go first quarter, and John Robinson's Rams behind 10-0 to Atlanta with 9.5 minutes to go in the quarter. The very situation that the Rams found themselves in Anaheim back in October when these two teams met. Atlanta jumped out to a 10-0 lead, and then the Rams took over.
I think the thing about the Rams offense that makes them feel comfortable even with being behind is the fact that they've got a great number of weapons to go to. One of the problems is if you get behind and you suddenly start struggling like the Rams have been doing during the season, they get out of the program what you want to do coming into the ball game, what you think you have to do to be successful, and all of a sudden you start pressing.
Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where we have a record temperature, we understand, for this time of year. It's about 72 degrees at game time, and Atlanta is red hot early.
It's warmer here in Atlanta than it is in Los Angeles, as I understand.
Wow. It has been a rainy, drizzly week, and we have that threat of rain over us here this afternoon as well. But the Falcons have started strong, leading the Rams 10-0. 56-yard drive for the Falcons, capped by Davis field goal, and now Davis will kick it away. Gaston Green and Robert Del Pino, again, who've been busy kickoff returners back deep. Green at the 10. Out he goes. Harry Wilkins down on the special teams. Made the hit at the 23-yard line. Jim Everett has not had the greatest field position to work with. And here's the offensive front for the Rams. Doug Smith at center. Bostic in there at guard, along with Duval Love, Jackie Slater, and Irv Pankey, the tackles, and Carter in at tight end. Gaston Green and Buford McGee in the backfield. Henry Ellard and Flipper Anderson, the wide receivers.
And as we said before, our graphics are a little delayed. And that Tom Newberry is starting an offensive guard in place of Bostic, who we thought was going to start today.
Buford McGee in motion. The Rams will keep it on the ground. Cleveland Gary, nothing there. And the Falcons defense, the way things started this afternoon. Mike Gann with a broken bone in his foot playing. Nonetheless, Torrey Epps at the nose and Tim Green at the other end. The linebacking core, Robert Lyles, Jesse Tuggle, John Rady, and Darian Connor. And the secondary for the Falcons, Bobby Butler and Deion Sanders, a couple of Florida State ex-stars, and Brian Jordan and Scott Case, who has the big play of the day on a 35-yard interception return for a score. So there's your lineups. And the Rams 2nd and 10. Everett back. Blitz coming again. Almost got to him. Incomplete. Intended for Pat Carter, his tight end. And Everett scraping himself off this Fulton County turf every time he lets go.
They call it the black wave down here. And you saw Jim that time sitting in the pocket. And he looked like he was trying to walk out into the surf because that defense just kept coming at him.
Last couple of weeks, it's been a black ripple for the Falcons defense. Not a black wave, but they've started strong today.
Well, the trouble for this one on this play comes from the right side. The offensive right side is a twist up front. You see 2 men coming outside, Green and Gann, and then Gann decides to go back up inside. I believe it's Gann, and then Everett sees him right in his face. And here's Tony Casillas, number 75, the former #1 draft choice of these Atlanta Falcons.
So Everett didn't want to see another 3rd and 10, but that's what he's got. And down he goes. The man you just spoke of, Casillas, with a sack.
Tony Casillas went through a long holdout period earlier this season. He told us that even though he got the money, he says it's just not worth it. He would not hold out again because he felt like he lost so much in terms of working and being with his team.
Well, the Rams have been unable to muster anything on offense, and now English from his own end zone. And you see Deion Sanders approach the midfield stripe as the return man for Atlanta. They almost got that one, may have gotten a piece of it, in fact. Sanders thought about it and has to let it go. And this will end up being a good punt for English all the way down to the 39-yard line. And the Falcons right back on offense with a 10-point lead when we come back. .803 to go first quarter here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Falcons in front of the Rams by 10. And Atlanta right back on offense with Mike Kent, Houston Hoover, Jamie Dukes, Bill Fralick, and Chris Hinton across the front wall, and Gary Wilkins, the tight end, Mike Rozier and Keith Jones in the backfield. Floyd Dixon and George Thomas started today. Andre Rison will play, but he was injured last week against Cleveland. And Hugh Millen's going to call a timeout. Didn't like the look of his set, I believe. He didn't even look at the Rams defense, but rather the man that was in motion. So he'll talk to Jerry Glanville. We'll take a break and be back in a moment. Embattled Rams defensive coordinator Fritz Shermer, and you'd be embattled too if you had as many injuries on defense as his club's had this year.
I think that's the problem that the Rams defense has had. They just had so many people going down at different times of the year. It is a lot.
In New York for an NFL Today update. Greg?
Brad, Tampa Bay in the hunt for a playoff spot in the NFC. Vinny Testaverde 6 yards to Mark Carrier. They approach the end of the first at Soldier Field. It's 7-0 Bucks. Let's go back to Atlanta. Brad and Dan.
And I'm glad we're here weather-wise.
Yeah,
Mike looked a little cool on the sideline, didn't he?
Unfortunately, I have to go back to that. But, you know, I have a feeling that this situation for the Bears this year might work out like it did last year when they didn't win another game throughout the regular season. I think they're in that kind of trouble this year.
Atlanta's 2nd and 6. Draw play to Johnson. Only got about a yard. Hawkins made the hit. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Nice warm day, and the rain hasn't started yet. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts with you. We wish you a happy holidays. It's been a happy one for Atlanta early as they lead 10-0 thanks to Scott Case with an interception return for a score and a Greg Davis field goal. Hugh Millen right there on your screen, a former 3rd-round draft choice of these Los Angeles Rams. They lost him a couple of years ago, tried to sneak him on the waiver wire, and he's been a Falcon since. This is only his 2nd start, though, in an Atlanta uniform. Penalty marker down. Pass intended for Andre Rison. Threw that flag in the secondary.
Andre Rison will make an appearance at the Pro Bowl this year, if all things go well.
Calling offensive pass interference on Atlanta.
Last week against the Cleveland Browns, Andre Rison injured his knee.
Offensive pass interference, number 86, penalty declined, brings up 4th down.
That's Floyd Dixon with the penalty. But last week, Rison injured his knee, and it was a question whether or not he's going to be able to play this Sunday. But he's back out there. He's going for a reception record here in Atlanta.
Scott Folhag to kick. Darrell Henley, the man that was interfered with. by Floyd Dixon, back deep for the Rams. Henley will call fair catch. He takes it right at the 10-yard line. 6 minutes and 31 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Atlanta leading 10-0. The Rams coming back on offense. Bubby Brister, 3 touchdown passes already out in front of Cleveland early. You saw Carrier's touchdown catch.
Jets over New England. The Patriots just having a worst season, I think, probably on their record.
Packers knocked out of the playoffs, as were the Vikings yesterday. Both teams from the NFC Central still had an outside hope. And
Washington lost that game to Indianapolis, and it was like a fluke the last couple of minutes of that ball game.
Coming up next, you're going to see the Saints against the world champions right here on CBS Sports, so stick around. Another NFC West battle. And here in the NFC West, the Rams and the Falcons. It's Atlanta early by 10. Gaston Green, nice cutback. And fights his way out for 8 or 9 yards. Good tough run by Gaston Green, who's known more as a sprinter instead of an inside the tackles type of runner.
Yeah, but you know, the good thing about Gaston Green is he has the ability to cut back, and I think that's something that he did very well at UCLA. And now he's getting an opportunity to do it with the Rams. He's getting a pretty good area blocking up front by his offensive line. They're just picking up the people in their area and taking them out. You saw the little cutback there, just made it real nice. He said he's finally beginning to understand what John Robinson wants out of his tailbacks. How to hit the hole with speed yet under control and be able to make your move.
And if you give him enough room, look out. He is a burner. Flipper Anderson in motion. Rams will get the first down. McGee took it straight up the middle. That's only the second first down for the Rams, and we are at the 5:40 mark of the first quarter.
Jackie Slater tying a record of appearances today with 208. Tying Merlin Olsen, our Merlin Olsen here at CBS. And you know, it's funny, I looked in the program guide for the nose tackles. They got this great big list of accomplishments. I look under Jackie's name, 15 years at offensive tackle. They got about 3 lines. That's all the offensive linemen get.
You guys get no respect.
I'm telling you.
But he's going to Hawaii for the 8th time. Everett on first down. And it tipped. Almost intercepted. Brian Jordan playing volleyball out there one-handed and almost tipped it to himself.
We talked about what's going on up front. Now watch Jackie Slater on this play. We talk about tricks up front when the defensive line goes in motion. You see right there, Green going outside, Gann going inside. Slater and Duval Love working off an area and taking the guy that comes to your area. Now, Jordan downfield, looks like basketball almost here, where he tips the ball up and tries to get it that second time. But fortunately for the Rams, Pat Carter knocks it away.
2nd and 10, Eller in motion. Everett looks in and got it. Complete the first down for the Rams out at the 38-yard line. Henry Eller having another outstanding season. 67 catches on the year now after that 15-yard pass play.
He was working against a loosely played zone that time. He just got in a little seam there and settled down in and made the reception.
There you see over 1,000 yards again as well.
He's broken all of Tom Fear's records with the Rams and Elroy Crazy Legs Hershey's. Never met either one of them, so he said maybe someday they'll all meet in Canton. Huh?
That's a possibility. Flipper Anderson in motion. First down for the Rams. Buford McGee. And he might have another Ram first down, and a penalty marker flies in late. Atlanta may have a late hit. Rick Bryan was the last guy to the pile.
Boy, would that be a surprise.
What a late hit on Atlanta. McGee got the first down out to the midfield stripe. We've already tried and convicted Ricky Bryan.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it is 77. The Falcons don't have a 57, so Rick Bryan is guilty. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, but see, when that happens, just slide into the hole and try to disappear if they got the wrong number.
So that moves it all the way down to the 35-yard line of Atlanta. A lot of people think the Falcons play dirty football. Bill Fralick says Jerry Glanville doesn't teach dirty. He teaches aggressive play that stretches the limit of the rule. I think he's got to go into politics at that line, doesn't he? First trip for the Rams in Atlanta territory. End around for Henry Ellard. Miles trying to run him down. Ellard got the corner and got 8 yards.
And what happened early in the play was Robert Del Pino ran into Tom Newberry, number 66, who wanted to swing out and block for Henry Eller coming around in the reverse. Had he been able to get all the way out of there, this play might have gone the distance. On the right-hand side, he'll come up on the right-hand side. Right there, you saw Del Pino right there run into Newberry. Now, Newberry wants to swing out, get deep so he can pull around and block the outside linebacker, Robert Lyles, but he just can't get there. But luckily, Henry Eller can.
The Rams' 7th play of the drive. 2nd and 2. Ashton Green gets the first down before he is swarmed under. Let's go back to Greg Gumbel in New York. Another NFL Today update.
Brad, at Philadelphia, Keith Byers has thrown 4 passes this year. He has 4 touchdowns as a result. This one 18 yards to Calvin Williams. 7-0 Philly. Dallas needs a win for a wild card spot, Brad.
All right, Greg, thanks. And that time, they always talk about Byers being left-handed. Buddy runs him right and throws him back.
Faked him out, went the other way with it. Threw across his body.
If I was the Cowboys defense, I would have bitten on that one too. The Rams have a first down at the Atlanta 24. They trail 10-0. McGee, no gain. John Rady there. Torrey Epps forced him inside and then got help from his friend.
Fred, one of the problems the Rams have been having this season as opposed to seasons past is the fact that they haven't been rushing the football as effectively. Look at their average rushes per game. The average is down to 3.9, but the yards per game is down to 102 yards, and that's really a big and very significant drop for them.
Unless Cleveland Gary comes out with a great game today, and next week the Rams will go without a 1,000-yard rusher for the first time in a long time. As, of course, all the years of Eric Dickerson, last year Greg Bell, before Dickerson, Lawrence McCutcheon, you can name them all. Everett for Del Pino. Intercepted. Brian Jordan.
And it appears that Jim Everett's timing is off a little bit because he's trying to go to the corner now to Del Pino. The ball is floated up in the air so high, I thought Jordan was going to turn around and ask for the fair catch on this thing. Watch Everett putting too much air up under the ball, and Jordan has a chance to react. He's already beat by Del Pino. Now he gets back in there, gets in the action, and makes the interception. Deion Sanders closing in as well.
Air Jordan on that one, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Air Jordan under that ball, too.
Jordan's 2nd interception of the season. Falcons from their own 6 on a blitz. Tracy Johnson covers it. Picked up a yard, maybe 2. Jim Everett now has thrown almost as many passes to the Falcons as he has to his Rams teammates. He's 3 out of 10 with 2 interceptions.
Talking to him before the game, he just appeared to be so ready to play. And sometimes the situations and what you want out of a ball game just get away from you early on. Question for him now in this Rams offense is, can they come back from the deficit that they've created for themselves?
The bad news is the interception. As you see, Everett's disgust as he throws his drink away there. But the good news is they have Atlanta buried deep in their own territory. Loose ball. The Rams have it. Mike Wilcher covers it. I think that's Tracy Johnson's first fumble of his NFL career. So there's the big break for the Rams defense.
It just appears that the ball just squirts out, Brad, as he hits up into the line of scrimmage. Watch right here, just as he gets up inside. Doug Reed is in there, Alvin Wright reaches in for the stop. Ball just squirts out. That's his first fumble. That may be his last of the day, knowing Jerry Glanville.
It's true. Wilcher a little shaken up on the recovery. And we're going to have another review here. We may set a first quarter record for reviews here today.
Last play is being reviewed.
Why? Let's take another peek at it and see if we can find out what the question is here. Ball's cleanly in hand.
Question being, is his knee down before the ball comes out?
That's a simultaneous thing, but I think that's a turnover. Knee comes out, ball comes out. You leave it to the people on the field to make those kinds of calls. You don't try to do it electronically.
Royal Cathcart's the guy that'll give us the official word here in a moment. Here's another angle.
Still looking for when that ball comes out. As the knee goes down, you can't really see from that angle when the ball started rolling out, but you can see clearly the knee is down. But you saw the ball was already out on the other side. So we do not have the definitive angle. I don't think they're overturning.
After further review, play stands is called on the field, ruled as a fumble, recovered by Los Angeles, first down.
So break for John Robinson.
I think he's looking, he must have found a 4-leaf clover down there in that grass somewhere.
First down. The Rams at the Atlanta 11-yard line. Cleveland Gary. Nice opening off the right side. He picked up about 4.
And you see how Cleveland is protecting the football as he goes through the line of scrimmage now. A lot of people are saying, hey, why doesn't he hold on with the football with both hands all the time? And Coach John Robinson said, I know those two-handed running backs look good, you know, look really nice getting the ball off the ground after a 2-yard gain.
And he says Cleveland Gary is going to be a great running back, he feels, but he's got to get back to where he feels comfortable, be able to put one arm out there for a stiff arm or put the moves on, whatever. But right now he's a little shaky because he's dropped it so many times this year. He stays in there as the tailback in the eye. McGee in motion. Gary again. Heads for the corner. Touchdown. He held out of that one and took it 7 yards for the score.
And this field, this track today is really a Cleveland Gary type track. You know, a guy that's built low to the ground, a low center of gravity. You saw him just lean when he got close to the end zone and just powered it on in. It's not the kind of field for a cutback guy today. The field is damp and mushy. Weak side pull here. Guys coming out. Now Gary's going to go out around that corner there and get on into the end zone. You got the backside guard and tackle pulling on the counter OT. Good blocking out front by Duval Love and Jackie Slater. And then Cleveland Gary with the little inside fake move there and takes it on in for the 6 points.
And then the replay while you were talking, Dan. So we've got another look upstairs. Cleveland Gary, Scott Case, and Deion Sanders, the guys that try to horse collar him there.
Yeah, see, the thing they're looking at is whether or not he crossed the goal line. Keep in mind that the goal line is actually the front of that white line and not the rear of it. That is once you get into the green grass up in the end zone. It's the front. If a pane of glass goes straight up from the front of that white line and you cross over that, you got a touchdown.
If this touchdown holds, it'll be the first points allowed in a first quarter by Atlanta in 10 games, 10 straight. They've gone 9 weeks without allowing any points, and if that touchdown holds, it comes with 22 seconds to go in the first quarter, so they almost continue that statistic.
Yeah, the first quarter hasn't been their problem. It's been the other 3.
You're right. 4 reviews. 4 will stand as called. Touchdown, Cleveland Gary. His 15th of the year. Lansford for the point after. And with 22 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Rams have their first touchdown of the day. 10-7 Atlanta with the lead. Cleveland Gary, who actually started his collegiate career here in the state of Georgia with the Bulldogs before transferring and going on to Miami.
And understand that Tom Newberry has re-aggravated that injured ankle from Monday night. He is out of the game, and Vern Grosnick will replace him in the guard position.
Coming up Christmas Day, CBS Sports presents Olympic Winterfest Countdown to Albertville, featuring the U.S. Open Professional Figure Skating Championships. Scott Hamilton, 84 gold medal winner, and Katarina Witt, 84 and 88 gold medal winner, plus the 1990 USSR Hockey Challenge Series. That's Christmas Day, 3 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports.
And I promise you I will not be on the ice.
I'm glad. I don't know if we could deal with that sight.
And Mike Lancer is down there. He might get a little, he won't get turf toe down there, but he
Might get a divot.
Yeah. He's got a bare foot on that muddy field.
So the Falcons with a 3-point lead. Lansford kicks away. And it'll be Deion Sanders, who can be exciting as a return man at times from the 4. Deion Sanders. All the way to the 46. $50 yards for prime time.
The nice thing about prime time is he gets everybody in the stadium up on their feet, and the main reason why is because he's got so many moves coming up the field. They want to make sure they don't miss any of them. He's thrown about 21 moves on this one run back. He's got exceptional speed and athletic ability, though. This young man is really going to do some nice things in the National Football League.
A lot of people felt Deion would be the return man for the NFC in the Pro Bowl. Mel Gray of Detroit gets that honor, but Deion is an alternate. And both as a punt and kickoff return man, he's been exciting. Great field position for the Falcons in Ram territory. Millen to Dixon to the 41-yard line. And that's about going to do it for the first quarter. Into the first quarter with a score: the Atlanta Falcons 10, the Los Angeles Rams nothing. The Los Angeles Rams 7, I should say. We'll be back in a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. Magnavox, smart, very smart. And by Miller Lite, with a reminder to think when you drink this holiday season.
Back at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons lead after one quarter, 10-7 over the Rams. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts along with you from Atlanta, where Hugh Millen, making his second start, will set up the Atlanta offense at the Ram 41 to start quarter number 2.
That coming after a great return by Deion Sanders, number 21.
Here's the Falcons' red gun 4 wide receiver offense. The direct snap got Atlanta the first down, it appears. Mike Rozier, who has made good work of that this season. They call it a snap draw. Look what Atlanta's done early in games. Second quarter's been the killer, though. Look at that stat.
A lot of 140 points in the second quarter. And that's why I was saying the other 3 have just kind of done them in.
The Rams scored 20 on Atlanta in the second quarter in Anaheim back in October after Atlanta had a 10-0 lead. 10-7 here. Falcons 3rd and short. Rozier first down and then some. Inside the Ram 25. Wilcher made the hit. 13 yards.
First, Rozier takes his direct snap. This time he goes outside. Now the key here was that Alvin Wright, number 99, penetrated through the offensive line, beating Freilich coming across, and almost gets a tackle right there in the backfield. But Rozier with fine outside speed cuts it up outside and punishes a couple of would-be tacklers on the way out. He got up. He had about a half acre of grass stuck in his helmet.
Rozier, of course, was with Jerry Glanville in Houston and was claimed off waivers by Atlanta. He's been their key back for much of the season. Millen, Michael Haynes, nice move at the 20. And another Atlanta first down. Michael Stewart brought down Michael Haynes, but he put a good move on the corner.
He really worked him over there, and I think Jerry Gray came in there as well and missed out on the opportunity. So I call a little hesitation and retreat move here. Millen on a fine pass. You saw Millen standing in, just fires it out there, and right there, Gray goes by. Oops. Haynes is on his way. Finally, he's taken down and out of bounds.
Haynes may be Atlanta's fastest receiver, and that time he showed he's shifty as well. There's his numbers on the year. First down, Atlanta. At the Ram 11. Hugh Millen finally got rid of it. And it's picked off but out of bounds by Henley. Millen did a nice job to get rid of that ball.
He really did, because he came out to the corner, and generally when you roll a quarterback out that far, you want him to have a little bit of vision downfield, but that time he got some pressure from the Rams defensive front, Mike Field in particular.
Brings up second down for the Falcons, and they can get a first down inside the Ram 2. Bobby Brister has 4 touchdown passes, we understand now, in that game against Cleveland.
I guess they like that offense in Pittsburgh now, huh?
Week to week, you never quite know, do you? George Thomas in motion. Rozier up the middle. Touchdown.
You get a little nervous with this offense because it stretches your defense out so far across the field. This time, Mike Rozier just simply runs over Pat Terrell, number 37. He says, Pat Terrell, I want you to first visit with my offensive line up front. We're going to get the blocks done up front, and then I'm going to welcome you to the NFL by running over you right here.
Pat, they have to do it better than that than they did it at Notre Dame. This is the NFL, huh? Davis. Extra point is good. Mike Rozier's 11-yard touchdown has Atlanta again in front by 10. .54 to go first half. Atlanta again with a 10-point lead thanks to Mike Rozier's touchdown run. These two teams not headed to the playoffs, but a lot of teams know they are heading that way, and there's still some possibilities out there, Dan.
Yeah, Dallas still has a shot at it, of course, and they've got to play Philadelphia. And then they're playing as we speak, as a matter of fact. Philadelphia has clinched already a wild card position. 49ers, as we know, are already in it. Only 1 defeat so far this season.
Davis to kick Gaston Green from the 7. And again, excellent coverage by Atlanta. Albert Shelley made the stop.
Let's take another look at that touchdown, Brad. I want to show you something. We talk about zone blocking. Watch here as these offensive linemen block out. You see cooperative blocking in here, and this is the key block. Mike Ken sealing off the backside, and that's what really allows Mike Rozier to scoot up through the hole and then come back. Houston Hoover, 69, gets a nice crush block there. Bill Fralick. But look at Ken's block right in the middle of the screen. He takes out 3 people on that one block.
And Rozier takes it in from 11 to cap a 46-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, you get the touchdown, you go over, sit on the sideline, and talk about it.
Del Pino, and he's piled up by the Falcon defense. And this Falcon defense is playing so much better than what they did last week. We saw them in Cleveland, Dan.
Yeah, and they just looked horrendous. But one thing that Jerry Glanville told us, he said that, first of all, I think my defensive line has played as hard as anybody in the National Football League, and they quite honestly deserve better than what they've got. The linebackers, you mentioned Jesse Tuggle is the guy that leads the team in tackles. John Rady is a fine inside linebacker. They make it tough on you up in the middle.
Some overachievers in there. Rady's one of them. Been around a long time out of Boise State. Everett, down he goes, and the ball's loose. Atlanta will pick it up. They blow it dead as Rady takes it in. That play was blown dead.
Jim Everett never got out of his back pedal on that play. The Falcons defense just pressured right up the middle.
Ball ruled down by contact. 3rd down.
Scott Case, number 25, right in the middle of your screen, comes in on the blitz. Check him out. That's where the pressure's coming, right up the middle as Everett tries to pull out and get back into position here. Case right on the Case, takes him down. Drops him like a stone.
Perfect timing by Case. 3rd down and long for the Rams. Everett comes deep. Anderson, and it's knocked away beautifully by Bobby Butler.
I think you said the key thing there, Brad. Number 1, the first thing, Jim Everett was going back. The whistle had blown already, blown the play dead. Second thing, Jim Everett and the Rams are not adjusting well to the blitzes. He said the last time they played the Falcons, they thought that they had a good blitz package. This time, they're just not doing a great job on it.
And Bobby Butler proving he can still get it done on the corner after 10 years.
And he's working. Yeah, he's working against a good one too, and Flipper Anderson.
And again, English will have to punt from his own end zone. The Falcons have come close twice. Deion Sanders all by his lonesome back near midfield. The Rams apparently adjusting their front a bit.
And the Falcons readjusting theirs.
Here they come. He got it away, and Sanders should have room. From the 42 with a flag down.
They will be running into the punter. There you go. They had a good push coming up front. And the Falcons did.
Here's English in his own end zone.
Yeah. If he didn't get this thing off, he'd be speaking a different language besides English. That time the Falcons got in there and got good pressure on, but the thing is, you've got to avoid the kicker in that situation.
15-yard penalty, first down.
And that's the killer. It's not a running into the kicker penalty. It's a roughing the kicker penalty on Dimry.
And really the situation there is they're trying to decide, well, did he have time to pull up? If he had time to pull up, then it's okay. Then you only get the 5-yarder. But in this case, they said, hey, look, they just ran into him, 15 yards.
You can tell Jerry Glanville doesn't agree.
Glanville loves special teams. He just likes to get after people on special teams.
Falcons the second most penalized team in the NFL coming into this one. And that's their second personal foul of the day. Jim Everett's been sacked a couple of times and he's thrown 2 interceptions. It has not been something he'll put in the resume so far. 17-7 Atlanta with the Rams back on offense. Deep for Anderson again. This time he got to it. That's why he leads the NFL in per catch average, all the way to the 24-yard line, 47 yards.
And credit Jim Everett for standing in under a torrential blitz. He just stood in and lofted the ball downfield to Flipper Anderson. Watch the protection up front. They're getting a lot of heat up there and a big push from that Falcon defensive front. See outside, they've got some pressure coming as well from the safety, Jordan. Now he takes off on Cleveland Gary. Inside, Connor comes in along with Tuggle on the blitz.
That means it's man for man back there.
That's right. And he's
tack
got
on at the end of the run, first down.
Deion Sanders, and they get a penalty tacked on to the end of the run.
So they will move it from the 24. Another personal foul.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 58 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Jesse Tuggle, the guilty party. That's 3 personal fouls.
And he was closing in on Everett as Everett released the football and may have followed through. I saw the game last night with the Redskins, but in that situation, Wilbur Marshall got a penalty for hitting Jeff George as he released the football just after he released it. Same kind of scenario here.
So the Rams threatening after the long pass play, the personal foul, half the distance and down to the 12-yard line. Gary. Cleveland Gary, another nice run. Got it near the 5-yard line. Deion Sanders and Tim Green brought it down. Gary came in with over 700 yards on the ground, has his 15th touchdown of the day earlier. And here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in the second quarter with 10:33 to go till halftime. Atlanta leading by 10, but the Rams try to change that here. They have it at the Atlanta 6-yard line. All the Falcon penalties have been personal fouls, good for 42 yards for the Rams. Gary again. Inside the 4 where Tuggle made the hit.
Same exact play. They had their left offensive tackle pulling around Irv Pankey, number 75, coming up through the hole and just pounding out something up in there.
Robert Cox comes in as an extra lineman. As it appears the Rams on 3rd and 2 are going to load up their front wall and just try to ram it at Atlanta. Inside the 20. The Rams 6th in the league. They're 0 for 4 on their 3rd down conversions, though. Let's see what they do with 3rd down and almost 2 to go. Cleveland Gary. He's got the 1st down.
They ran the same play again.
Hey, if it keeps working,
That's it. Pulling that backside tackle. Irv Pankey, 75, coming around, coming up through the hole, pasting a couple of people, get a couple of yards. Here's the play again. Watch Pankey come from the backside. He's got bad intentions coming all the way. Him and Vern Brostick. Brostick at about 310, and I'm being generous. Pankey coming in here at about the same. They just load it up and send it at you.
Speaking of generous, maybe I was too generous saying first down. They're going to bring out the sticks. I think he's got it by about half the length of the football, though. Let's see how close we are. Philadelphia with a lead. Buffalo leading Miami. Key game in the AFC East. It's about half the length of the football.
Yeah, told. Which football? They had 2 down there.
So now the Rams have first and goal.
And what do you think they're going to do in this situation? I'd run the same play until they stop it. Just keep running it at them until they stop it.
They leave Robert Cox in there, so they've got the extra lineman. There you see games from yesterday and last night. How about Indianapolis?
Oh, boy, what a surprise in that game.
They're playing pretty well.
Key interception at the end, and Jeff George throws a late touchdown pass.
Del Pino in motion, straight ahead. Buford McGee this time didn't get there, but he got closer. Torrey Epps made the initial hit. Albert Shelley came flying up from the secondary.
This is like slowly I creep inch by inch. You know, this track today, the feel is I think a great feel right now for the inside running guys. And the reason why I say that is it's a little slippery and damp outside for the people that want to try to make the quick cuts. But if you just come straight ahead off of this thing, it's almost excellent for that, because the defense can't dig in and get burrowed in there like they like to do.
Robert Cox, the extra lineman, circled the Rams huddle that time a couple of times, so the Falcons wouldn't know where they were going to be strong, to which side. Cleveland Gary, no. Falcons defense going to make it tough on Los Angeles. Shelley and Jordan, along with Darian Connor and Jesse Tuggle.
Yeah, and they knew that Cleveland Gary was going to try to come up over the top, so Jesse Tuggle says, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you at the pass. And guess what? I'm going to block it up, too. Right there, he just bounces right back into, you saw McGee go up in there. Buford McGee, he got rejected out of there, and then they got a hold of Cleveland Gary. There's another look at it. Middle linebacker, you're playing it right there.
This drive for the Rams started at the 21. The 9th play of the drive is 3rd and goal. This time Gary outside, and he won't get it there either. An impressive goal line stand by the Atlanta Falcon defense.
I tell you what, the surf was kind of rough out there with the black wave. They met him down on the goal line. Watch over on the left side of your screen. Good reaction by the defense. You see Rady, 59, coming over. He's getting in position. Rick Bryant, 77, gets back there, and they just reject the running back.
Mike Lansford in to attempt a 19-yard field goal. Pete Holohan will hold. That kick gets the Rams 3 points closer. 6:45 to go in the half. The Atlanta defense gives up a field goal, but they don't give up the touchdown.
And one of the things that Jerry Glanville teams have always prided themselves in is swarming to the football, and that's exactly what they do in this situation.
Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts with you from Atlanta, where the Falcons lead by 7. 6:45 to go in the half.
And earlier, while we were in commercial, the Falcons got up and huddled up the whole football team out on the field. Jerry Glanville, I'm sure, mentioning to them that, hey, look, we got to go after this thing. We have an opportunity to win the ball game. Let's go and do it.
Been a good game so far. Lansford to kick off. Deion Sanders had a 50-yarder last time. They're going to try to keep it away from him. And Pringle, the up man, takes it at the 16. He got out across the 28, maybe the 29-yard line. AFC playoff picture. Let's take a look at that right now. Buffalo can clinch the division crown if they beat the Dolphins today.
Up in Buffalo, and it's cold up there today, and the Raiders could clinch a division title if KC loses today.
Of course, the Raiders beat the Vikings yesterday afternoon. The wild card situation, there's a look.
All the teams that are in the mix in the AFC is a few more than the NFC. Kansas City at 9-5 leads that group. Pittsburgh winning today.
Seattle,
9-6.
Seattle and Indianapolis have to be the two surprises in that playoff picture of possibilities. Atlanta first down at its own 30. Hugh Millen. Incomplete. Andre Rison looking for a flag, doesn't get it. Darrell Henley was covering.
If he didn't get it, he should buy one out there, because Darrell Henley was draped all over him as he's trying to make the reception. That's pass interference. Henley's still looking around for the flag. Have they thrown it yet? Watch as the ball is approaching Andre Rison here. You see Henley going in right there for the stop, and the ball just ricochets off Rison.
Those are the kind you can't review.
I can tell you what he'll buy for that side judge down there for Christmas. A pair of eyeglasses.
2nd and 10. Falcons leading by a touchdown at the 6:32 mark remaining in the half. Here comes a blitz on Miller. Got it to George Thomas on much the same pattern, and Thomas got a first down. Jerry Gray knocked him out.
It's well known the players are wearing American flags on their helmets, and we talked to Kevin Green, who's a member of the inactive reserves. He said that he very much respects that and understands why the commissioner did it. His brother is serving in Saudi Arabia. He's the captain serving out in Saudi Arabia. He's been there for 4 or 5 months already.
Captain Keith Green. If somehow he ends up seeing this game, your brother wishes you well. Hugh Millen in trouble. Got away from that and got it complete to Michael Haynes. Another Atlanta first down in Ram territory at the 44-yard line.
Brad, nice reaction by Haynes coming back to the quarterback, though. Recognizing the situation, your quarterback's in trouble, you work back to him and open up, get that little area in there and just find a little open area and settle in. You see here, Millen is in trouble. Mike Peel is in his face right now. Just reverses field and finds the receiver downfield.
Yeah, I got to give Hugh Millen credit. He's making only his 2nd start, and the former 3rd-round draft choice of the Rams has been pretty cool in there. Playing in only his 11th NFL game. He started a game last year against Green Bay for Atlanta, as we have another review apparently.
I wonder if they're going to review whether or not they want to keep the review. I tell you what'll get my vote.
I think they will review that at the end of the year. I think this one's going to stay as called too. Ball at the Ram 44-yard line.
Question here is whether or not Haynes trapped the ball down, and it's a good pass by Hugh Millen now. Haynes goes down, see him again, get the elbows down underneath, protect the ball, makes the reception, and goes to the ground.
You know, I think at some point, Dan, they've got to let these officials on the field just let this game roll.
Yeah,
I mean,
either that or
kind of ridiculous.
That's right, or don't pay the guys on the field and just pay the guy from the review booth.
5:25 to go in the half. And we've spent about 3 times that much time taking a look at plays upstairs. Here's the call. Well, maybe we won't get one from Howard Rowe.
It's a secret.
John Robinson as restless as the fans are.
After further review, play stands is called on the field, complete, first down.
You know, as a coach and as a player, I think you'd just rather have the game and the flow of the game continue, even if the call is against you.
I think John Robinson just said it. He said, let's play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So Atlanta first down. Hugh Millen. Wide open is Sean Collins. Collins. Another Atlanta first down at the 33-yard line. Darrell Henley made the tackle. First down for Sean Collins, who was an all-rookie selection last year for Atlanta. Don't forget, coming up next on CBS Sports, this will be a good one. The Saints and the 49ers have at it. And you'll see it right after the Rams and the Falcons here on CBS Sports. Hugh Millen over 100 yards throwing the ball now. 107 yards passing. He's hit his last 3. And we have movement on the right offensive side for Atlanta, the left defensive side for the Rams. Let's see who jumped.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 79. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Bill Fralick.
The insurance man has got a big insurance agency down here that does property and casualty insurance for truck drivers.
Only Fralick could have an insurance company that deals with truckers. Former All-American at Pittsburgh. Jersey and locker and everything's been retired up in Pittsburgh. And here in Atlanta, he has had 6 solid seasons.
They were scared to open it up again.
Mike Rozier Nice stiff arm, got him a little extra yardage. Vince Newsom ran him out of bounds.
That looked like one of those karate movies when he came around the corner.
Newsom's about the only guy that's been healthy in that defense for the Rams all year, Dan.
Yeah, you know, when we went over the list of everybody on the defenses, particularly in the secondary, and just looked around there, everyone has gone down at one point or another during the season. And that's been one of the problems for the Rams, is the fact that they never had everybody on the field at the same time healthy. So, you know, as a result, you come out of sync for the early part of the season, and that's when you get in the hole.
2nd down 8. George Thomas in motion from the red gun. Millen got away again. George Thomas. 1st down Atlanta. Ooh, some popping going on that play.
I think George Thomas wants to start every weekend. He kind of likes that out there. A little extra effort out there by George Thomas. Saw him run over Jerry Gray, number 25 on the play, and nice effort there by Hugh Millen to escape Brett Farron. Now he just gets out to the side, dumps up the problem right there. Major league collision, escapes and gets tackled finally by 3 people in the secondary of the Rams.
John Scully's checked in for Houston Hoover at left guard. Atlanta with a 1st down to the Ram 15. Risen in motion. Rozier. Straight up the middle, not much there. Anthony Newman came in from the secondary. Baronez was there from his linebacker spot.
It's fairly tough to run against the Rams defense, and I think the reason why is 2 guys, Doug Reed, number 93, and Alvin Wright, number 99. But the problem that the Rams have defensively is that they don't have enough rushmen to rush the passer. So that's the reason why Atlanta's been fairly successful today in rolling out, setting up, and being able to look downfield without any duress and finding their receivers.
Kevin Green told us yesterday, number 99 right there, Alvin Wright, is his man that he thinks should be the defensive MVP of the Rams. Says doesn't get much credit, but he covers a lot of territory.
Sideline to sideline. Old 2 gappers.
On 2nd down, Millen scans the field. Rozier is his safety valve. And a nice open field tackle out there on Rozier.
You see what I was talking about with the time. He had a time, that time Hugh Millen did, to do a pirouette out on the field. And then I thought he was going to do one of those little leaps in the air as well. Watch him here as he comes out on the left side, spins around, looking all around the field, has time to get the manicure, turns back around, and finally fires it over to Mike Rozier.
2 minutes left in the half. The Atlanta Falcons leading the Los Angeles Rams 17-10 with 2 minutes to go in the half. And the Falcons find themselves with a 3rd down and long 6 coming up just inside the Rams 12-yard line, and they'll go with their red gun look. And there it is with 4 wide receivers. Millen has time to the end zone, flag down in the end zone. Pass incomplete. See if we have interference back there. Bobby Humphrey was the man with George Thomas, the intended receiver. Flag actually looked like it was thrown more to the middle of the end zone.
The call looks like defensive holding, and that's what it is.
That'll give the Falcons a 1st down.
Watch the end of the play, and up on the right top of your screen.
Holding. Defense, number 20. 5-yard
And the call is against Henley, number 20, right there, I guess is where they call the penalty. Oh, I don't see it.
Henley was
Must have happened out of the break.
on Michael Haynes, and apparently it did happen on Haynes' break to the side, and it gives Atlanta the 1st down at the 6-yard line. So the Falcons with the 7-point lead and trying to add to it before intermission. 17-10 Falcons.
Hugh Millen is another gentleman that's affected by what's going on in the Middle East. His dad is a computer programmer who's out in Saudi Arabia.
Mike Rozier inside the 5 to the 4, and the Falcons in a 2 tight end set. And boy, you won't see that very often, I'll tell you that much.
They had to sign somebody out of the stands to play that other tight end.
Troy Sadowski in there with Gary Wilkins, one from Georgia, one from Georgia Tech.
Here are the 2 tight ends that Brad was talking about. You see them on both sides of the offensive tackles, out here and right out here. And that's unusual for them because, and the reason why is because they usually play 3-4 wide receiver in the red tackles.
At the 4-yard line, 2nd and goal. Rozier will lose this time. Back near the 8-yard line.
And that time the Rams defense showed them the California way.
Kevin Green part of it, along with Newsom and Mike Wilcher.
Wilcher just really came up and crushed the block right now at the inception of the play. Watch number 54, Mike Wilcher. Good penetration also by the rest of the defensive line. They're on a little bit of a slant working in this direction. Alvin Wright, number 99, old two gappers up in there along with Wilcher. And Kevin Green.
And the Falcons backed up to the 6. Will go with a red gun. Andre Rison hasn't caught a pass yet today. Millen. That one intended for Rison and broken up en route. Anthony Newman got a hand on it. The Falcons are going to be forced to settle for a field goal attempt.
Andre Rison was hoping he's going to get to do his end zone dance. They call it the highlight zone. Here he's working against the Rams defense and Newman. And good reaction here by Newman, just reaching in and popping that ball up.
So Greg Davis, who has one field goal already to his credit today, will try one from 23 yards out. Trying to give Atlanta again a 10-point cushion. Full head to hold. His kick from 23 yards is good. 30 seconds to go in the half. Atlanta leading the Rams 20-10. The Falcons cap a 64-yard drive in 12 plays with a field goal and now lead the Rams 20-10 with 30 seconds left in the first half. Davis to kick off. Del Pino and Green deep for the Rams. Deep kick. Gaston Green a yard in will bring it out. Darian Connor tripped up Gaston Green at the 15-yard line. 26 seconds to go in the half. Falcons leading 20-10. This was the halftime score in game 1 between these two teams, only it was flipped around. The Rams led the Falcons back in October in Anaheim 20-10. Falcons have turned the tables here at home with 26 seconds to go in the half.
A little touch of deja vu, and I'm sure John Robinson's hoping that his offensive team speaks French.
Jim Everett, I tell you, this game's looked French to him today. He's 4 out of 12 for 85 yards, and he's thrown 2 interceptions. He's been sacked a couple of times. First down for the Rams at their own 15. They keep it on the ground. And this will look good for Buford McGee as far as his rushing statistics.
Yeah, but he got caught in the riptide that time. Ooh, the undertow.
Falcons defense doesn't look like the same group we saw at Cleveland Stadium last week. That's for sure.
No, there's no question they got revitalized and recharged. They play a little different down here in their stadium, though.
They're going for their 4th win at home, and they're halfway there. End of the first half. The score, the Atlanta Falcons leading the Los Angeles Rams 20-10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. HBO, simply the best. And by Tots, the premium choice. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Kodak Gold Film, show your true colors. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
Some of the sights of the forest city of Atlanta, where the hometown Falcons in front at halftime over the Los Angeles Rams 20-10. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts back with you, and again, happy holidays to all of you. And Dan, we talked coming into this game, the Falcons with only 3 wins and the Rams with 5. John Robinson said we need to play inspired football and win 2, and so far not inspired football. I don't think.
When you really look how the game started off for the Rams, Jim Everett throws a quick interception to Scott Case about 1 minute and 45 seconds into the ball game. Case takes it back in for the touchdown, and right away the Rams are struggling, and that's not the position that you want to be in. Ernie Zambese's offense is one that takes advantage of opportunities, and if you get behind, then they have to press a little bit more and do things that are out of character for them.
Everett's thrown 2 interceptions today, and he's been sacked 3 times by the Falcons. He's been hurried on several other occasions, and he's not having a Jim Everett day. So we'll see how he regroups to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and by the same token, the Falcons are protecting their quarterback awfully well. Last week against Cleveland when we had him, the quarterback went down 8 times. 8 sacks they gave up last week.
Hugh Millen has avoided several Rams rushes and found receivers and has played very, very well in only his second start in an Atlanta Falcon uniform. And he has said that there's a very good likelihood he will not be back next year with the Falcons. That's what's kind of strange about this situation. He's the 3rd starting quarterback for the Falcons. First, Chris Miller went down with a broken collarbone, and then Scott Campbell, who started a couple of games, has been banged up and is not active today. Here comes Millen, who's going to be a plan B guy.
Well, he said that the thing about this offense that they have, the red gun offense, is that it takes some of the pressure off the quarterback. So some of the decision making is taken out of his hands and put in the hands of the wide receivers. They've got to read what's going on downfield. So that takes a little bit of that question mark out of his game. I think he's playing like that today.
Jerry Glanville in his first year as head coach of the Falcons. In his first year with Houston, his club went 5-11. He would take that, I think, right now and like to win these last 2 and have that same record here in Atlanta.
And I'm sure he's concerned about one thing. I just saw Tony Casillas over on the sideline, and it looked like he was in civvies for the second half. Let me just check down there and make sure one more time.
Lansford to kick off to start the second half. Deion Sanders right there, number 21, has a 50-yard return to his credit today, and they're going to give him a chance. Deion takes it at the 1 and slips on takeoff. It might be takeoff for Sanders. Lost the ball, and the Rams have covered it. At the 28-yard line.
Sanders trying so hard to make something positive happen for his club. Gives up the ball on the kickoff return.
Might be Anthony Newman that covers this thing.
You see him there high stepping, trying to reverse field right there, and makes another little counter move up inside. And right around here is when the ball gets punched out. Right there, Michael Stewart squeezes it out, and it's recovered by Newman.
So a big break for the Rams. Their first play of the third quarter is at the Atlanta 28-yard line. I assume this means we have a review, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Hyperextended elbow is the word we have on Tony Casillas, who we just talked about a moment ago.
Here's another look at the play, and I'm sure this is going to be the
After further review,
definitive
play
one here.
stance is called on the field, first down.
So far, we've had about 25 reviewed, and none of them have stood up to the review process. And there's Stewart knocking the ball out clearly.
At the 28. Golden opportunity for Everett and the Rams offense. Throw that one away. Henry Ellard was out there.
Yeah, he had that cameraman ducking over there. He had a nice spin on the ball, too.
We may have a flag down in the secondary.
See that guy? Look at him. He was ready. He looks like he's ready for the outback.
Apparently it's not a penalty marker at the 22-yard line.
Brad, you see this Falcon team all the time. How does Tony Casillas being out of that lineup affect what they do from the nose tackle position?
Well, I think Torrey Epps has been a pleasant surprise for him, the rookie out of Memphis State. But had Tony Casillas been in camp to start the year, I think he probably would have been the guy. It's hard to move him out of there. He had a great year last season. And Epps made the tackle at the 30.
Hey, I want to tell you something. He did more than make the tackle. You just called out his name. Fantastic play that time. Spun out of there and got back into the mix and right into the fold. This is a guy that Jerry Glanville said the only reason why he signed him is because he saw his only one good game. Watch him here. In college, they let him look at one game. It was against Florida, and he had a sensational ball game. He never got to see another ball game of his, and that's why he picked him up. You saw him just avoid the blocks here, slant inside, react back out, and make the stop.
8th round draft choice, Torrey Epps.
He asked Glanville, said, "You didn't see any of my other games?" He goes, "No." He said, "Oh, it's good. That was my best one."
Number 99 defense, incidental grab, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Tim Green got a hold of the face mask.
The author, Tim Green, says his book is ready to be published. He's writing a book on, strangely enough, the life of a football player.
In an expansion city.
Maybe it's going to be on the WLAF.
Could be. And now we have the officials halting play here again. John's going to wear out his hair, taking that cap off, running his hands through his hair on the sideline with all the stoppages in play.
You can tell these guys don't have an early flight.
Second down again. The ball just inside the 25. Safety blitz coming. Everett lays it out, almost intercepted by Sanders. And that was reminiscent of the interception he made a week ago. This one he doesn't hold on to. And maybe he's going to be called for pass interference as well here.
You saw him pushing down there on the bottom just as he turned around, and I'm sure that's what the call is going to be.
Well, that's the type of penalty they can't review, but they can talk about it beforehand.
Scott Case comes in on the blitz right in the middle, 25, gets picked up pretty good. Duval Love on the bounce off. And right there you saw the contact by Deion Sanders. Now, what he's going to say is he was looking around for the football.
After the play was over, we got an unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 21 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's for kicking the ball.
Okay. They let him go with the contact, the incidental contact, because he was looking for the ball, but it was the extra activity. But he didn't even kick it, did he?
If you read Jerry Glanville's lips there, he said, "You've got to be kidding me." Scott Case and Deion Sanders continue to fire one another up. It's still second down. Now it's at the Atlanta 12-yard line. It should be first down. Gaston Green, he'll lose yardage. Ricky Bryant made the initial hit, and then John Rady helped out.
Jerry Glanville's probably over in that sideline saying if he continues to get penalties called against him like that, like in his old saying, the reason why they call it the NFL is because it stands for not for long.
That's right. There's the penalties on the day. The Falcons came in tied for second in the league with the most penalties. That was, by the way, a first down run by Gaston Green. They had not changed the marker on the far side of the field, so now it is second down. He lost a yard, second and 11. Flipper Anderson in motion. Everett to Holohan inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Brian Jordan, the strong safety, rode him down there.
And that's really the first time we've seen Pete Holohan used effectively today. Normally he's a very integral part of the Rams offense.
Came in with 42 catches, and that's the first time he's touched it today.
Another one of those San Diego recoveries. They brought him up from San Diego along with Buford McGee, Ernie Zambezi, the offensive coordinator, Tank Younger in the front office. And they got out of the Barry Redden trade, they also got Flipper Anderson, the number 2 draft choice.
Flipper in motion on 3rd and 6. Here comes the blitz. Ellard has it knocked away by Sanders. And Deion entices the crowd in the end zone after that play.
You will not make your money going after Deion Sanders. He's that good of an athlete and that good of a corner now. I think he's really developing his man-to-man skills and understanding positioning on man-to-man. And watch this play here as he just gets right up in the front of the receiver, Henry Ellard. Well, we get to see Jim Everett get body slammed by Torrey Epps. So watch Deion on the play, getting in there and pulling that ball out away from Henry Ellard.
Mike Lansford in a familiar locale here at the 15-yard line. This is a 25-yard field goal attempt. And he's got this one as well. 12 minutes and 39 seconds to go third quarter. Rams with 3 more. They lead. They rather trail 20-13. Back at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Atlanta Falcons continue to lead the Los Angeles Rams, but the Rams have cut it to 7 after that field goal. 20-yard drive following the opening turnover as Deion Sanders fumbled on his kickoff return. The Rams went 20 yards in 7 plays in 2 minutes 8 seconds and got the field goal. You have to credit the Atlanta defense, though. They haven't given up much today.
Played awfully tough against what is a fine Rams offense, and when it normally can put some points on the board.
Lansford gets a little help from Henley as he kicks off. This one taken by Keith Jones. Jones, tough run on the return out across the 35 near the 37-yard line. Hugh Millen, his second start as an Atlanta Falcon, and he's looked pretty good today.
Yeah, he said he really saw a lot sitting on the sideline. He understands a lot more about the game now, having watched from the sideline, and feels that that really helps his development.
There's his fiance, who's the coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons cheerleading staff, Lisa Coles.
And she and Hugh were planning on getting married. However, the plans have been put off until Hugh's dad returns from the Middle East.
First down, Rams bring everybody up close. Rozier, nice opening off the left side. He's into Ram territory. 14 yards for Rozier.
You know, if you talk to Jerry Glanville about Mike Rozier, he said he's the best coaching running back coach that they have, because he not only does it, but he demonstrates it for everyone else on the team. Just kind of shows them how to get it done. Counter OT right there. Good blocking by Freilich, number 1. And then number 2, Chris Hinton, number 71, coming around and sealing up inside, sealed 4 people off on the play, and as a result, Rozier gets excellent yardage.
Rozier goes over 50 yards on the day. He's had a good one. He comes out as a wide receiver here on first down. Atlanta at the Ram 49. Keith Jones inside, spins his way near the 46. He got about 3.
You know, it's interesting to look at the Rams' development on their defense. When early in the season they tried to go to the under defense, and then they finally had to go back to the basic 3-man front. One of the problems that they had was Kevin Green making the adjustment, trying to move over the other side of the defense and rush from that side. Fritz Sermer just decided to go back to the same things they were doing last year. He's their defensive coordinator right in the middle of your screen.
Second down and 8 at the 47-yard line. Millen, plenty of time. Sean Collins to the 25-yard line. First down. Collins has been wide open today.
He's been wide open, and Hugh Millen has had way too much time if you look at that Rams defense. Watch the time that Millen has to look around, scan the field, and find the open man. First he looks right, comes back, checks left, fires the football in. It was wide receiver Haynes.
Chris Hinton had Kevin Green all bottled up and was getting help from Keith Jones, the running back, so a double team on the top sack man for the Rams defense helped the cause. And Atlanta with another first down. Rozier, good tough inside run again for Rozier in his 6th year out of Nebraska.
You mentioned Chris Hinton, and we talked to Kevin Green about him and what he thought about the matchup, and he said that Chris Hinton is one of the better ones around, and he thinks that the key thing about him is he's got such quick feet. Last week, Chris Hinton had an off game against Cleveland. This week, he's come back very strong. I think that's on the news that he may be going to Hawaii to another Pro Bowl. His 7th, 6 or 7.
That's right. In his 8th year out of Northwestern. Said the trade to Atlanta was a little more traumatic than the opening trade in his career from Denver to the Colts. Rozier got the corner. Newsom knocked him out of bounds.
Oh, but wait a minute. George Thomas on another comeback block, a crackback block, and just delivered a shot downfield, and that really sprung Rozier late. Watch Thomas, number 89, at the tail end of this play. Number 89 will come back, work his way back towards his running back, Rozier, and just take out somebody. Right there, he takes out Henley. Henley's legs go flying out, and Rozier gets to come down the field a little bit longer.
Mike Rozier, 6 yards a pop today. 66 yards on 11 carries, including an 11-yard touchdown. At the 11-yard line. First down for the Falcons. Rozier may want to throw here. He's not going to get a chance. Almost looked like he was going to try to pull up and throw an option pass.
It looked like he was loading up, but then so the Rams defense was loading up on him.
Doug Reed, the guy that got there. We have an injured Ram.
We talk so much about the offensive line and what goes on up there with Chris Hinton, number 71. Let's watch him up at the top of your screen. Watch him on his block. Let's check in with the big all-pro and find out what he does. As he goes out on that corner, he's just going to bury one of those poor little defensive backs. Now, that should be illegal there. See, I mean, that's just not fair. 290 pounds on about 170, 180.
Atlanta by 7. Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts with you with 8:52 to go third quarter, and the Falcons in front of the Rams by a touchdown and trying to add to it here from the red gun. George Thomas in motion. Millen lost the ball, and I think the Rams covered it. Los Angeles gets it back.
Credit Bill Hawkins with forcing the fumble that time on Hugh Millen.
Mike Peel with a fumble recovery. And so the Rams offense with a chance now to work from deep in its own territory.
Breaks are starting to go back to the Rams way. I think this is Hawkins right in the middle of your screen. It is number 70 working against Houston Hoover. Now, as Millen pulls it down and tries to go upfield, you see him right there reaching in as he's making the stop, punches the ball out, and it's recovered by the secondary of the Rams.
Jim Everett and the Rams offense set to go to work. They're at their own 7-yard line. The look from behind Jim Everett. He wants to throw from his own end zone. Completed the pass, but what a hit by John Rady on Buford McGee. They call him Radar, and those are the kind of hits that cause the nickname.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Rams, the receivers, they don't have stealth. You know, we were talking with Jerry Glanville about the things that he might do differently next time around. He said one of the things that he's going to do differently is possibly not work guys like John Rady so hard during the preseason because normally he only plays as starters and maybe about one series in the preseason games, but these guys have to play the whole time because they were trying to learn the system. Thinks they might be a little worn out now.
Rady with 5 straight years of over 100 tackles. Cleveland Gary inside. Got it out to the 13-yard line. Mike Gann in on the tackle. Rady again helps out.
We were talking earlier, Brad, about the fact that John Robinson quite possibly could go this year without having a 1,000-yard rusher if Cleveland Gary doesn't explode in the very late part of this season. I think that's one of the things that the Rams have been trying to work on all season long is to get that running game back in the groove, and maybe if they had Greg Bell for one more year, that would have helped that situation out a little bit more.
They got Kurt Warner in the plan B. That didn't work out. Of course, Greg Bell left on plan B. And so Gaston Green, Cleveland Gary, who has it here but doesn't get the first down. They've done the tailback by committee. And as a group, they've had a good season. But they haven't had one individual really take over.
I think one of the things that John Robinson's probably looking for this Rams organization is some kind of continuity up front in the front office in terms of who's going to come on plan B, who are they going to draft, those kinds of things. Here's a tailback by committee that you mentioned earlier. Marcus Dupree is the guy who we expected to see later on today.
English again standing near his own goal line to punt. Not the greatest kick. Let's see if Sanders can get it on the hop.
He went down like Buster Douglas.
Terrell made the hit. -2 on the return. Atlanta with a 7-point lead here with 6:39 to go in the third quarter. You see the clouds over Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and they tell us the rain is on the way. So far it's held up throughout this ball game, and Hugh Millen is held up to the Rams defense, has his club in front. First down Atlanta at its own 40-yard line. Rams show blitz again. Here they come. Millen completes it. George Thomas having a nice day. He's closing in on 100 yards receiving. Next Saturday on CBS Sports, we've got a basketball football doubleheader for you. We start things off with Kentucky and Louisville. Then the last word before kickoff the NFL today at 3:30, and that'll be followed by the Philadelphia Eagles and the Phoenix Cardinals having at it. It could be a very, very important game to the Eagles. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff. So it's hoops, the NFL today, and then NFL action with the Eagles and the Cardinals next Saturday on CBS Sports. First down for the Falcons, right back in Rams territory. There's what Atlanta's done offensively today. Kevin Green coming again. Hinton's got him picked up, and Millen has time. Wide open is Wilkins, the tight end. Dan, Kevin Green's a non-factor today, I think, as a pass rusher, it's safe to say.
Brad, you know, he's working against Chris Hinton now, and Chris Hinton told us, he said that the one thing about this offense, the reason why right tackles are so important in this offense is because they're on the strong side. They've got to face up. Normally it's the left tackle that's so critical. With this offense, the quarterback is rolling right so much, so you've got to control your man and control the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what he did that time against Kevin Green.
Second and short. There's Chris Hinton. They go behind him, and they won't get the first down. Keith Jones off the right side, stopped short. Be third down and still about a half yard to go. Fosterman in on the tackle.
Big Chris moved down here. He was in the real estate business up in Indianapolis, and now has decided to move down to Atlanta. Look at him working in there, just continuing the block, continuing that pressure against Doug Reed. And then Collins and Gray get into it up top. Look at those guys. That's what we call chicken fights. When the defensive backs and the receivers get involved. And they point a lot. You know, it's important to get out there and point like he got the last shot in.
Jones actually lost a little yardage, so on 3rd and 2, it's the Falcons from their red gun offense. Open on the sideline and complete for a first down, and it's George Thomas, and that puts him very close to the 100-yard mark. 5 catches on the day now for George Thomas.
One of the key things you ask your running backs to do is pick up on the blitzes and pass protection. And watch Mike Rozier, number 30, in here, helping out his offensive line, blocking on Mike Peel with Houston Hoover.
So the Falcons continue to move the sticks with this pass completion to Thomas.
Bernier just missed that one.
1st and 10, Atlanta. Hugh Millen with a fine day so far. Rozier got away from Wiltshire for a moment, and then Doug Reed collared him. He'll lose almost 3 yards.
Brad, we just saw Hugh Millen's numbers, though, on the day, and you have to believe there's a little bit of that I want to get back at you with the Rams situation, in that, you know, he felt that he wasn't sure whether or not they really wanted to bring him back off. And then when he left the Rams, and I'm sure there's a lot of that retribution in his game today.
In his first year as a rookie with the Rams, I think they expected some things from him because they were unsettled with their quarterback situation. He broke his foot. He says, I came back, I come into the Rams camp on crutches, and everybody said, did you hear about the trade? And he said, what trade? And they said, Jim Everett's coming to Los Angeles.
And you're going.
He said, uh-oh. He'll work from the red gun again. 2nd and 14. Millen this time. The Rams finally get to him, and it's Bill Hawkins.
Bill Hawkins is a guy who the Rams, and I'm sure John Robinson was really looking for big things from. He's a top first-round draft choice in '88, and we've got Jamie Dukes, the starting center for the Falcons now.
He had some hip trouble last week against Cleveland that forced him out of the game for a couple of plays. And he's been the Iron Man for the Falcons on the offensive front. But it looks like he's going to have to come out here.
Take a look at him on the end zone. He's number 64, right there in front of Hugh Millen. And it looks like his knee is just going to collapse right there as he slides down on that field. And I can tell you that the field is muddy, the track is kind of slippery, and that's when you get the hip flexors and the groin pulls and all that kind of thing, because when you try to set that foot and plant all your weight on it, it just simply slides out from underneath of you.
Started every game at Florida State.
Try to get a word on what's the matter with the big fella. I call him Luther Vandross. Kind of reminds me of Luther now.
Mike Ruther in at center. Luther out and Ruther in. And it's 3rd down and 21. Falcons way back now to the Rams' 47-yard line. Millen stands in. Incomplete, intended for Michael Haynes. The reason that Hugh Millen is in is because Scott Campbell was banged up last week, and there's the Falcons starting quarterback who was brilliant to start the season, Chris Miller, out with a broken collarbone.
He was their starting quarterback and very much their future. When he went down, the Falcons offense really started to struggle.
And they say it'll probably take until springtime for Chris Miller to be able to throw. They expect him back for their mini camps. Henley and Henry Ellard back awaiting Fulhag's punt. Nice high kick. Fair catch 4. Falcons slip trying to knock it back. Albert Shelley, who's had a big day on special teams, lost his footing at the last instant.
He was just trying to be too good. He wanted to get all the way down to the 1-yard line, turn around, square off to the goal line, and block the ball out. But on a tricky field like today, you cannot plan on those kinds of things. You just got to stop it there on the 2. Give it up.
Sometimes you just wait too long. Scott Fulhag's reaction. Rams on offense when we come back. Back in Atlanta, 2:39 to go third quarter. Jamie Duke still trying to walk off an injury, and the Falcons maintain a 7-point lead, but the Rams back on offense. Everett hit as he throws. Tim Green, the man that got there.
Falcons defensive front is running a lot of loops now, Brad, and that's putting some pressure on the offensive line of the Rams. Watch the twists and turns that are going on up front. You see people penetrating and then coming off. That time Tim Green just with a straight arm over rush just came in and powered into Jim Everett.
As we said, Green not the biggest defensive lineman you're going to find. 6'2", 245.
But he said that that's, you know, the quickness helps a great deal. A lot of guys want to sit there and try to nail him, and you just can't hit a guy that's that small and fast. 2nd and 10 Rams. Here comes the pressure again on Everett. Got around Darian Connor and airing it out deep. Overshot everybody. Pat Carter, the closest Ram. Actually, Brian Jordan had a better play on the ball. There's Tim Green, also a Falcon #1 draft choice. They had 2 draft choices in the first round that year. Tony Casillas first, and then Tim Green. And Green was a guy who they wanted to play at linebacker, and then now he's finally back at the down position, which he played at Syracuse. And I was teasing him, saying that he as well was working down the evolutionary chain, back down on all 4s now.
Jim Everett, 6 out of 19 for 92 yards, and he's been intercepted twice. 3rd and 10. Deep ball, incomplete, and a flag flies in late as Charles Dimmery got too much of Aaron Cox. Dimmery, a former starter at cornerback in the Atlanta secondary, and he was burned often by Jerry Rice in a lopsided 49er win over the Falcons.
Pass interference, number 22 on a defense, a spot foul, automatic first down.
And his season kind of took a nosedive, and that's why Bobby Butler's back in starting. So the 7th penalty against Atlanta on the day. That gives him 116 on the year. Coming up next, don't forget the Saints and the world champion 49ers will have at it. Can anybody stop San Francisco? They've only been tripped once this year.
And that was by these Rams. That was early. And this is now.
This is the real world with the 49ers starting to peak again. First down, Los Angeles. Green again chasing Everett. But he got it away to Henry Ellard for a first down in Falcon territory at the 49. Scott Case there to put down Ellard. 15-yard pass play.
Once again, that's the speed of Tim Green flushing Jim Everett out of the pocket, making him uncomfortable. He'd like to go out to that perimeter and set up. Now watch up in here. That's where the pressure comes from. Green comes off. The Rams are trying to pull their guard out and have Herb Pankey block down on Green, but he slants in hard and just chases Everett until he unloads the ball. Everett, nice pass on the run there.
And as Henry Ellard has done for so many years, he finds a little soft spot back there to get open. That's the key. That's why he's Everett's favorite receiver. First down Rams. Plenty of time for Everett this time. Going deep for Anderson. Incomplete. At the 10-yard line, a little contact with Bobby Butler.
Yeah, but that's excellent coverage that time by Butler. Butler is actually in better position than Anderson on the play. One thing about Jim Everett that you've got to like, and that is the fact that I think he's an excellent role model for young people. Here's a guy that really keeps himself and his attitude and his ego in check, and really does, I think, a fine job of presenting himself as a professional athlete.
He is one of the more entertaining guys to talk to in the league, too. He has fun playing football. He
sure
says that's
does.
what it's all about. He says the $2.5 million, all of that's nice. I love playing the game. 2nd and 10 for the Rams. Everett under pressure again. Threw it before his receiver made the break and completed it. Nope, out of bounds. Henry Ellard on the other end.
Once again, it's Tim Green, number 99, putting pressure in from that right offensive side of the Rams line. Green has just been unstoppable up front for the Falcons today. Watch him coming from up top, number 99. Good move that time, working against Bernd Brostick. Brostick's normally a center, and he's having a little trouble playing at guard right now in place of Tom Newberry.
Burns a rookie. He'll learn how to hold better than that one.
Yeah, he sure will.
Yeah,
I can teach him a couple of things just from right here in the booth.
3rd down and 10. And the Falcon fans come to life a bit for their black wave defense. And again, that one incomplete due to the pressure. And again, it's Connor and Tim Green.
See, maybe one of the things you want to do is settle up and try to leave your center, Doug Smith, in there to help out Brostick, because Brostick is the guy having the problems with the loops and the changes up inside. Now watch what Brostick does on this play, because what happens is Green's going to go away from him, and all of a sudden he's going to get somebody else in his face. Now, that time the center, Doug Smith, did not come off like he should have on the stunt.
Ryan Jordan back. Deion Sanders had not been in that series after taking the pop on the punt return earlier, and Jordan falls for the fair catch and takes it back near the 12-yard line.
Deion got that Buster Douglas hit down there. I know Evander Holyfield lives here in Atlanta, but
Evander was supposed to be at the game today. So far,
he's had a busy schedule, though. I think he might be trying to cool out a little bit and catch his breath.
Falcons leading by 7 with just 1:12 to go, 3rd quarter at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. With Dan Jiggetts, I'm Brad Nessler. Kevin Green, a sprained right shoulder, the word we have from the sideline, and we may not see him today.
He's a guy that started out at Auburn playing intramural football and worked his way onto the team as a walk-on, and said he had to work for everything he's ever gotten, and that's the only way he knows how to go approach the game of football and life in general. It's just working hard and getting it done.
Millen gives off to Jones, flags down as Jones breaks a couple of tackles out to the 20-yard line. That one thrown in the general direction of holding.
Critical here, Brad, for the Rams to try to get another score and prevent the Falcons from going in and get a score themselves before this rain hits that we've been talking about all day.
You can feel it cooling off right now, as though maybe the rain's just around the corner. I think John Scully is going to be the guilty party.
10-yard penalty, repeat, 1st down.
Scully's played a good majority of the game after Houston Hoover went out earlier in the ball game, the normal starting left guard.
Jerry Glanville raised $50,000 just recently for the Starlight Foundation with Jerry Jeff Walker and all of his country western buddies. They came down here and had a big soiree and raised a whole lot of money. Went into his office the other day and he still had his guitar sitting up there. He was picking a little bit, I think, before we came in.
He got that for a Christmas present from a friend of his, and his wife Brenda and his son Justin got him the exact same guitar. Now he's got 2 of them. I don't think he knows how to play either one of them, to tell you the truth. Rozier inside. Now breaks outside. How in the world did he get out of that pileup?
Maybe he has stealth.
They couldn't find him, that's for sure. 10-yard pickup for Rozier.
So one of the things that he can do is hide behind that big offensive line that he's got up front, and they're kind of moving off the ball a little bit now. Starts over to the right, counters back on up to the left. Pounds in there, does not get stopped here. I think the Rams are thinking that he's down. Mike Ken follows through on his block, and that really springs him again on the second effort.
Mike Wilcher did all but change his thigh pads for him, and all of a sudden Rozier popped out and got decent yardage, and that is going to expire the 3rd quarter here in Atlanta. The end of the 3rd quarter. With a score, the Atlanta Falcons 20, the Los Angeles Rams 13. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Set for the 4th quarter in Atlanta. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts with you. The Falcons leading 20-13. They have a 2nd down and 6. Millen, on what appears to be a broken play, will go down inside the 10-yard line. Wanted to hand that off, I think, Dan, and nobody home.
Yeah, and that's a scary feeling.
These two teams not heading to the NFC playoffs, but as we take a look at who might be, Dallas playing Philadelphia right now and trailing the Eagles. If the Eagles get a couple of wins, they'd clinch the home field in the wild card. The Cowboys just need a win to get in. And of course the 49ers, the world champions, home field throughout the playoff picture. There's that score between the Eagles and the Cowboys, and what must be a pretty good one going on. 10-3. Millen waits and goes incomplete. Sean Collins was open, but he overshot him, and Millen will have to pick himself up as Hawkins got nice pressure in there.
Sean Collins has been somewhat of an enigma this year for the Falcons. Last year had a great season, his rookie season, and then this season just has not blossomed into the kind of play that you would expect out of a high round selection.
Speculation is that he just doesn't fit that standard receiver type that the run and shoot, or red gun in this case, type of offenses need.
I think the key there is to adjust your offense to take advantage of good athletes, so he's got good hands.
Good point. Full hag from his own end zone. End over end punt. Henley from the 47. Nice move. Down near the 37. Nifty return by Henley. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Atlanta Falcons, and the National Football League is prohibited. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts with you in Atlanta, where we've been waiting for rain all day, and so far so good, folks. That's what these fans here are saying too, as it is nowhere near a sellout today, but the fans that have come out a couple of days before Christmas have enjoyed what they've seen so far. Just over 30,000 folks on hand today. Cleveland Gary straight up the middle. Boy, did he get tagged at about the 35-yard line. The home attendance, so Dan, has been on the upswing this year, thanks to Jerry Glanville and an exciting preseason and early season.
Yeah, and he's really brought the pride back. That's something that the owner of this team, Rankin Smith, asked him to do, is bring the pride back to this club and get these guys playing hard. And I think that's reflected in the attendance numbers as well.
You know, the amazing thing, despite the fact Glanville's Falcons are only 3-11, everybody talks about, well, next year when we're in the playoffs, just matter-of-factly. Great catch by Henry Ellard, who stretched out at the 19-yard line. He had to lay out for that one.
Henry Ellard's just incredible. Just keeps coming back and having great seasons. And hard to believe that a guy like him can be around 7-8 years and continue to play at the level that he is playing at now.
His third catch of the day. He was 6 catches for 109 yards and a touchdown the first game against Atlanta this year.
Here's working against that zone back in the Atlanta secondary. It's not often you'll see them in a zone.
Rams inside the Falcon 20 again with a first down. Everett hit as he throws. Incomplete. I'll tell you what Bobby Butler's complaining about. He says Ellard pushed off at the last instant downfield.
And Ellard's going to argue that that he caught that ball. He thought that he was in bounds. But then he was concentrating on the football and not his foot placement. Here's another look at it, working against Bobby Butler, and right there he gets the separation. And he felt that Bobby Butler had stayed on him a little too long, and no, that ball hit the ground. Sorry about that one, Henry.
I don't think either guy had a case. I don't think there was any pass interference there either.
Both of them slipped down, and neither one of them had a leg to stand on.
That's right. Nobody wanted to admit it. Jim Everett has struggled a bit today. Not on that one. Ellard to the 4. Working on Charles Dimry, who again is in at corner because Deion Sanders was dinged up earlier.
It appeared from our angle that he went down to his knees. He was slipping again in that sideline and just concentrated on the football. And watch him make the reception here under very difficult circumstances. You saw his legs spinning there. He looked like one of those cartoon characters. His legs were going, they were spinning around, and finally he comes back and makes it.
The word on the Falcons cornerbacks this year has been that Dimry is a great zone guy. Deion Sanders a great man-to-man guy. They don't complement each other very well, and so they've had trouble back there.
They got to figure out when they're going to go zone, that's for sure.
First and goal, Everett wide open in the flats. Gary, and he forgot to take the ball along. Cost the Rams a couple of wins.
But I think he'll come along as a young running back. He'll develop into a fine, steady, consistent back.
He's in there at the tailback spot on second and goal at the 4, and here he comes. Gary To the 1. Mike Gann put him down. Oliver Barnett also there.
And that's why I say I think he'll develop into a pretty good back, because you saw that ability to stop right there on the dime, give you 9 cents change, and head up the field.
Great baseball player, too.
Maybe you can talk to Tommy Lasorda and find out if he needs somebody.
That's right. The Falcons have come up with one goal line stand earlier in this ball game. It's 3rd down and goal at the 1 here. Everett. They've done it again. And now a flag comes in. Brian Jordan covering Cleveland Gary. And maybe he rode him out the back of the end zone. Was the ball catchable? That's another question.
Well, I can tell you, this is Brian Jordan's down there offering suggestions.
Determination here is whether or not Gary could have gotten to that ball. I don't know really how you ever make that ruling, but
The flag is being picked up. Pass was ruled uncatchable. Brings up 4th down.
that's a call.
Here's another look at it. Cleveland Gary, 43, working against Jordan, and right there he gets pushed. And he's working to that side. I don't know if that ball's within the vicinity of you. You got to be awful careful on picking up a flag on that kind of a situation down in the end zone.
Well, Brian will take that one.
He sure will. He obviously pleaded his case very well down there.
And on 4th down, Lansford another field goal from in close from 19 yards away. And it's blocked. The 5th blocked field goal of the year for Atlanta.
I believe it was Mike Gann who blocked at number 76, but number 77, Rick Bryant, is coming off with it. I'm sure he helped him out up in the middle. This Gann, 76, breaking through, hands up, slaps the ball back at Mike Lansford.
This is a Rams team that had 431 yards of offense against Atlanta in the first meeting. You can see Atlanta has the edge. Mike Rozier has been tough. Jim Everett has really struggled. And the Falcons just blocked their 5th field goal of the year, and that gives it back to the Atlanta offense. Rozier again. He has run tough today out to the 14-yard line.
Take another look at the block on the play, and right in here, that's where Mike Gann is coming from, 76. And what happens is he gets right by the center. McDonald snaps the ball, and that's his first responsibility. Secondly, you try to make yourself big, though, after you snap the ball. And for McDonald, that's kind of tough because he's just not a naturally big guy.
Mike played only 3 plays last week against Cleveland because of what they thought was a sprained arch. They found out he had a broken bone in his foot. So Mike Gann, playing with a broken foot, gets the blocked field goal. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons are trying to win their 4th game of the year in front of the hometown folks. They're off to a pretty good start with 10:45 to play. They lead by a touchdown. If the Falcons win this, it would be the first time since '83 that they have won as many as 4 home games. They're 3-3 at home, trying to go to 4-3 if they can hang on to this one.
Yeah, but unfortunately for the Falcons, if they win the game, they get pushed away from that number 2 draft choice.
That's right. The batting order was New England and then Atlanta coming into this one as far as the top draft pick. Hugh Millett fires out to Haynes. First down. Michael Haynes working on Darrell Henley on the corner. So that will keep things going for Atlanta. Philadelphia continues to lead by a touchdown. Buffalo looks like they're going to wrap up their division crown at home field. Bubby Brister's had a big day as Pittsburgh is blanking Cleveland.
Bears jumped out in front of Tampa Bay now. It's a tragedy that they lost Fred Washington, a young defensive tackle who was in a car accident and was killed earlier this week along with a companion. But it was a wonderful young man.
Mike Rozier cuts back out to the 25-yard line. This looks like the Heisman Trophy winning Mike Rozier. He's had a great day.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why Mike Ken that time did a great job up at his left tackle spot. Jared Glanville told us earlier in the season, he said Mike Ken is looking better now than he did in 1980. And he's been to about 5 or 6 Pro Bowls. And just watch over here on this side of the line. Watch Mike Ken's block. And then you understand why he makes a visit to Hawaii every year or so. Good explosion out of here. Keeps his eye on Mike Field. Takes him on inside. Seals it off. That's the second nice block, a seal off that we've seen out of him today.
13 years out of Michigan for Mike Kent. On second down, it's Rozier again. This time, not much. Larry Kelm, his second straight tackle, along with Doug Reed. And we've worked our way inside the 9-minute mark here in Atlanta. Christmas Day, CBS Sports presents Olympic Winterfest. Countdown to Albertville, featuring the U.S. Open Professional Figure Skating Championship, Scott Hamilton and Katarina Witt. Plus the 1990 U.S.-USSR Hockey Challenge Series. Christmas Day, join us, 3 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports.
Scott Hamilton of CBS. He's one of our guys. We'll see him in the Winter Olympics.
Mike Rozier's outrushed the Rams team today. Millen looks for a receiver and almost threw it right into the waiting arms of Darrell Henley. In fact, he did, but Henley didn't hold on.
I know what he wants for Christmas.
Ooh.
Henley has this ball thrown right at him, and I don't know if Millen just short-sighted the thing or he thought that the receiver was going to break out when he broke in, but it was a poorly thrown ball and one that Henley had a real shot at intercepting.
Well, Henley have a chance now to get his hands on a punt from Scott Fulhag. Nice punt. Henley's really going to backpedal. Jesse Tuggle let him have it at the 32-yard line.
It's the man they call the hammer.
And he put it on after a 14-yard return by Henley.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by McDonald's. You know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. Interstate Batteries now with over 180,000 dealers across the U.S. and Canada. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
The Rams on first down from their own 32. Go to the air, incomplete. Lyles covering Buford McGee. Well, Jim Everett's got the opportunity. He has not had a good day, but the Falcons have left the door open because their 5 possessions in the second half has resulted in a couple of fumbles and 3 punts.
And when you think about the Rams of 1989, this is the kind of situation where they would have just been all over it. Everett taking them down on this drive, maybe getting the 6 points, and then finally tying the game up with the extra point, and then coming back with something magical in the closing minutes. But this year, it just has not been that way for the Rams.
2nd and 10. Here comes a blitz on Everett. Ellard came back for it and got the first down.
The question may be with the Rams of the magic being gone and having been lucky last year, as well as trying to readjust your game since people have kind of caught up with you. This time Everett has some time though to sit up and throw the football, and Henry Ellard makes a nice little comeback here. Mike Gann gets in his face late, but the ball's well gone. Ellard, good reception.
Bobby Butler's got to wonder what he has to do against Ellard, who just keeps adjusting to the passes by Everett and has 5 catches on the day.
That's good coverage. You're right by Butler.
13 yards on that one. Tipped at the line. Rick Bryan, I believe, got the hand on it, number 77. Scores in the AFC today. Playoff implications here definitely with Cincinnati pulling what could be an upset over Houston. Oilers have been rolling along, and Bubby Brister's had a brilliant day as Pittsburgh's bombing Cleveland. So that's going to put the Steelers in the driver's seat. If those scores continue to hold, they would move to the top of the pack.
And Warren Moon at Houston is having a little rough water today, but last week threw for 527 yards. That's a season for some quarterbacks.
2nd and 10. Nice play fake by Everett. McGee with a catch. And Brian Jordan was right there. It was Torrey Epps that got the pressure that time on Everett.
Boy, you're right, Brad. That was a nice fake by Everett. That time somebody on the defensive line for the Falcons tried to reverse field on the play and almost got whiplash because of Everett's fine fake.
The only guy that didn't buy it was Torrey Epps. He put enough pressure on it. As you see what the Rams have done on 3rd down, and they came in 41% on their 3rd down conversions this year. They trailed 20-13. We approach the 6.5-minute mark to play, and here's another 3rd down. Holohan has got it. Needed 6. He got 7.
Starting to look a little bit more like the Ernie Zampese offense that you're so used to seeing out of the Rams. Using a lot of different people, using all of your weapons instead of just concentrating on forcing the ball downfield. And I think that that's one of the things that Everett was referring to when I talked to him before the game. He said, now we get behind, we start pressing too much, and we go to the stuff that's normally desperation stuff because you're down 10 points. And so this offense works a lot better when the game is tight because you can drain the clock and get downfield and get the touches.
The Rams keep it alive at the Atlanta 44. 1st down. End around coming. Nope, they fake it and go deep. Incomplete. Robert Del Pino out there. We saw Del Pino score on that earlier in the year against Tampa Bay on a play similar to that.
And that's very much the matchup that you want at Del Pino against Jesse Tuggle, a linebacker. In that case, though, Tuggle was running stride for stride with him. The hammer.
That play looked good. The only thing it didn't accomplish was a completion. Not a Jim Everett day. Scott Case took one of those interceptions in for a touchdown just 1 minute and 45 seconds into this one, and that set the stage for what Atlanta's done. They've got a blitz coming. Cleveland Gary. Rick Bryan finally stops him, but he had a nice gain on the play.
Well, he faked a couple of people out down there in that defense of the Falcons. I think Robert Lyles is still trying to identify him. Watch Lyles, number 54, try to come up and make the stop on Cleveland Gary as he comes through the line. It's a counter gap again, and watch it right here as he fakes him out. Puts another move on right there on Scott Case and escapes, and finally is brought down by Rick Bryan.
Only back to ever get over 100 yards against the Atlanta defense this year was Cleveland Gary in their first meeting back in October. He had a nice run there, but it's still 3rd down and 4. Everett, screen incomplete. Darian Connor got the pressure that time.
You're getting backside pressure on the screen. You've got to turn around and cut that outside rusher. If you don't cut the outside rusher to the screen call side, he's going to get in your quarterback's face, particularly when he's rolling out and he's got his back turned, so he has no shot at seeing that man before he turns around.
And the Rams apparently will not wait to get another opportunity. With less than 5 minutes to play, they'll go for it on 4th down and a long 4.
I do something controlled here, maybe to a Pete Holohan or one of my wide receivers on a possession type pattern.
At the Atlanta 38-yard line, and now we have a timeout. 4:57 to play. Atlanta leads the Rams by a touchdown. John Robinson, the coach of the Rams, at least for another game and another 5 minutes. There's been speculation he may not be back. Jerry Glanville in his first year with the Atlanta Falcons, hoping his team can win its 4th game at home. And the game may come down to this very single play.
It is still, Brad, inconceivable to me that John Robinson might be out of a job at the end of the season.
I agree with you. 4th and 4, the Falcon 38. The Falcons fans will let you know whether or not Everett can pick it up here. Intended for Henry Ellard, incomplete. It's been that kind of day for number 11.
Credit the defense of the Falcons with having a sensational day. Darren Conner, number 56, pressuring all day, pressuring Jim Everett, along with Tim Green, number 99, getting in his face, not letting him sit up and get comfortable in that pocket, kind of situation he's used to, and he's just been forcing some footballs today and short-arming them to his receivers.
Jim Everett knew it, and so did his coach. And the Falcons now would just like to burn up some clock with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's very difficult to burn up the clock running the football in the interior of that Rams defense.
Mike Rozier has had one of his better days for Atlanta today, and he'll be the guy that they'll call on. There's the timeout situation, the Rams having just taken one a few moments ago. Jerry Glanville, longtime Atlanta assistant, before moving on. A successful stint as head coach of the Houston Oilers, and now back where he says this is home. Here's the give inside to Rozier. Nice move. I think we're going to have a face mask on Baronet, don't you, Dan?
Yeah, he reached in just when he tried to make the stop. It's almost a natural reaction to try to close your hands and grab a hold of the running back. It's going to cost him 5 yards on this one.
Howard Rowe will give us a call here in a moment. It is face mask on Los Angeles.
Defense, grab face mask, number 51, 5-yard penalty. Repeat.
So they'll repeat second down, and it'll be second down and about 5. The dream is to go to college on a basketball scholarship and then make it to the pros. The reality for most is a trip right back to where they started from. That's tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday night movie, Always Remember I Love You, starring Patty Duke and Joan Van Ark. It's all coming up tonight on CBS Sports. I should say another ball game coming up on CBS Sports, then that's what you'll see after that. The Saints and the 49ers will be next. The Falcons lead here, 20-13. 3:53 to play in the ball game.
They were adjusting the game clocks to all show the same time. Right now, one showing 3:53 and the other's 3:52.
I think they've got the markers mixed up on the sideline too. We'll try to get all this straightened out.
Clock operator, please put 5 seconds more on the clock. Clock should read 3:58. 3:58.
So they put 5 seconds back on the clock. There's the story. The Falcons with a 20-13 lead. All their scoring coming in the first half. Second half's been fumble, and punt. But now they need a drive to preserve the win because their defense has done the job for them today and given them the opportunity. Rozier, flag down. Rozier got near midfield.
I wonder if the officials are getting paid by the flag.
A holding call against Atlanta. And we go to New York and an NFL Today update.
All right, Brad, earlier today we raised the question about the 49ers resting and protecting Joe Montana. Vern Lundquist has late word from San Francisco.
Joe Montana has been bothered by a slight groin strain much of the week. He woke up this morning, he wasn't feeling good. He has decided not to suit up for today's game. Now, he's not on the inactive list. He could play if necessary. But with quarterbacks dropping throughout the league, the 49ers are taking the safe route. Steve Young will start and play against the Saints.
All right, Vern, thank you. Looks like it's a little cooler out there than it is here in Atlanta.
That's a smart move on the part of George Seifert, too. Rest your #1 guy and let him get healthy. Steve Young needs the playing time. You never know what's going to happen during the playoffs.
Falcons with a holding call, their 9th penalty. Now it's 1st and 20. Rozier again. Another flag down. It's become flag football with 3 minutes, 47 seconds to go. If it's against Atlanta, it'll put them over the 100-yard mark again in penalties, and it will be another holding call. That'll make it 1st and 30. We talked about the 49ers. That's what's coming up next. The Saints and San Francisco have at it.
Philadelphia jumping out now in front of Dallas. Buffalo leading Miami. Cincinnati over Houston. Somewhat of a surprise there. And Pittsburgh just simply spanking Cleveland.
So if all that continues to hold form, Pittsburgh will move to the head of the class in the AFC Central. The Jets routed New England today. Well, the Falcons have a 1st and 30. There aren't a lot of plays in the playbook for this particular situation. Rozier out to the 35. And we have another flag now.
Brad, you know, we talked about at the beginning of this ball game how John Robinson told his Rams that you got to play. You know, this is an opportunity to do your profession. You ought to be proud of the fact that you can play this game. And if you're not proud of that and you're not giving everything you got, then you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I'm sure he'd like to have another little chat with his people right now, because they've got an opportunity still to tie this ball game up with 3 minutes and 37 seconds left.
5-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
So we'll do 1st down again. This penalty against the Rams for the face mask.
For Glanville and his Falcons, they've got the game under control right now, and if they can just generate something offensively to kill the clock, but they've been beating themselves right now with penalties. They've been marching backwards. Finally got one little break and got the face mask penalty going the other way.
The Atlanta Falcons, a franchise that has only 11 wins in the last 3 years, and number 4 would seem like a Christmas present to them if they can get their 4th win of the season. They're home again next week against the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Rozier's been a busy back. And another nice run by Rozier. He's starting to close in on 100 yards on the day. Vince Newsom finally put him down. Mike Rozier, he says, I need a breather. 21 carries, 99 yards and a touchdown.
Says, hey, I've been around a while. You know, I'm one of those veteran running backs.
Supposed to give me a breather here and there.
Let me get a blow over here in the sideline. I'll be back out there.
With all the penalties, all the confusion, it is 2nd down and 13. Under 3 minutes to go. Jones and Johnson in the Atlanta backfield now. Keith Jones. Mike Peel will bring him down as he got near midfield.
Falcons continuing to try to burn that clock.
And we've got a timeout with 2:34 to play. Falcons by 7. .234 to play. The Falcons leading the Rams 20-13, and a big 3rd down coming up for them.
Here's the draft order for 1991. If the season ended today, Atlanta would have the number 3 choice. If they win today, they would slip down to number 4. The Rams would have the number 6 choice.
So the Rams will get one of their higher picks in recent years. The Falcons have 2 choices in the 1st round. The other one as part of the deal that brought Andre Rison and Chris Hinton, but sent a number 1 pick overall for Jeff George that the Colts made. So they've got a good situation with the draft coming up. They want this football game, though. 3rd and 9. Nice play fake. Millen on the bootleg won't get anywhere near the 1st down sticks as Jerry Gray made the tackle.
Nice fake, bad run.
Exactly. And the Rams have just used their last timeout.
40-second timeout.
2:28 to play in the game. We'll take a timeout as well. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons lead the Rams by 7 with 2:28 to go, but the Rams have no way to stop it anymore except getting the ball out of bounds. They're going to get a chance on offense, though. Scott Fulhag, his last punt went 56 yards. The Rams have 10 men up right now to try to put some heat on it. good punt this time, off the side of his foot, and goes out at the 22-yard line. Don't forget, coming up next, you'll see the New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. We'll have that one in just a few minutes. Here in Atlanta, the Los Angeles Rams at Fulton County Stadium have the football offensively at their own 22-yard line, but there's the clock in the corner, 2:21. That's the key, and the Rams have no timeouts left.
And the rain has just started to fall.
Pretty timely maybe for the Atlanta defense. Or maybe it will help the Rams offense. Let's see. Flipper Anderson deep. Incomplete. Albert Shelley, the nickelback, was covering.
A yard shorter on that pass, and Jim Everett has a touchdown.
Who does have the advantage in a slick field? Dan, is it the receivers because they know where they're going?
Yeah, and I think it makes it tough when the defensive backs to try to make the plant and cut out of off the break. The receivers, as you said, know where they're going, so they can round it off a little bit more. For the defensive backs, though, once you try to plant and pull up on somebody, it's very difficult.
So about the only problem for the offense is the slipperiness of the ball, I guess.
That's right. And those balls are now treated to repel some of the water.
2nd and 10 Rams. Here comes Darian Connor again. Almost got to Everett. He got it away to Aaron Cox to the 30-yard line. Dimry put him down there. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in the football game. Falcons lead 20-13. Two minutes to play in Atlanta. Falcons trying to cling to a touchdown lead over the Rams. Rams with the ball with no timeouts remaining.
Jim Everett, a fine 2-minute quarterback. Expect to see him maybe work to the inside of the field with 2 minutes left. He's got a couple of opportunities maybe to throw some crossing patterns, some slant patterns, and try to move the ball very quickly, then set up again and then go out of bounds or do the kill the clock play.
Their biggest problem might be what you see right there.
That's right.
It's 3rd down and almost 2 to go. So they need that to have any chance. And the rain has just hit us. 3rd down. Everett. Incomplete, intended for Holohan. Broken up by Albert Shelley, who's had quite a game. And the Rams are down to 1 play.
Trips up top. And Albert Shelley, number 37, just comes in and just slaps this one away. Tight coverage on Holohan. He had him right off the line of scrimmage and then just reaches in and plays it exceptionally well. Cut right in front of Holohan as he tried to make the reception.
Jim Everett's only hit 1/3 of his 39 passes. He's been intercepted twice. And now he needs a 1st down to have any hope. Everett, quick slant. Incomplete. Anderson couldn't hold it. And that will do it for the Atlanta defense, and Deion Sanders, who finally reappeared after being a little bit woozy earlier in this half, makes the play.
He makes the play because it's getting late in the afternoon. It's moving into prime time.
That's right.
Sanders man-to-man against Flipper Anderson, has him all the way in motion. Watch him break on the ball right there and slip that hand in, and Flipper had a chance if he could have tucked it in with the one hand, but that wasn't going to work. Deion was all over. Nice tight coverage.
And remember, the Rams have no way to stop it now. The Falcons will have a safety valve deep, and they'll just huddle around their quarterback, Hugh Millen, who has had a nice day in only his 2nd start as an Atlanta Falcon.
Hugh Millen said he's the kind of quarterback, if you're not drafted in the 1st round, you don't get a chance to throw 35 interceptions like Testaverde did down at Tampa Bay. He knows he's on a short leash. He's just got to do the best he can with the opportunities presented to him. Took full advantage of it today.
John Robinson's Rams are about set to fall to 5-10. He's been to the playoffs 6 of the last 7 years, only his 2nd non-winning season as head man in Los Angeles.
He had a great rapport with his players, and I think that if things can get worked out in that Rams organization, John Robinson should be their coach for at least another 8 to 10 years.
Hugh Millen will milk That clock, for all it's worth, and finally take the snap. And now they'll have to down it only one more time. A long season for the Los Angeles Rams. Expected by many to maybe have a shot at the Super Bowl. For that man, Jerry Glanville, in his first campaign in Atlanta, this will be a very, very nice Christmas present.
Expect the Rams to go back and retool, get some defensive rushmen, some more help for the secondary, and hope that the people that they have, like Fred Strickland and all those guys, can get healthy. That's what they need.
The Falcons will snap it once more, and they'll go away with a 20-13 win. The Falcons' last win over the Rams in Atlanta, non-strike game, was back in 1986, and for the first time in the last 8 games, the Falcons able to take care of their counterparts from the NFC West. Well, the Falcons showed up today. They didn't in Cleveland last week, but they played well today, Dan.
That's the way they do it. When they get home, they just bring it up another level, and we saw a clear example of that today.
That's going to do it. The Falcons win it. For Dan Jiggetts, this is Brad Nessler saying so long from Fulton County Stadium. The final score, the Falcons 20, the Rams 13. Coming up next, it's the New Orleans Saints against the San Francisco 49ers. League will continue after these words from your local station.